Yes,
I really appreciate it.
yes, ma'am. I don't know a whole lot about this situation here, so I'm gonna definitely need you guys to kind of inform me and the entire space on exactly what's going on. Like I said, Gabe hit me up and he said he's running a few minutes late, so we'll definitely go ahead and
Okay. So
go.
did you want me to start?
Uh,
Since you put out a tweet with my name in it.
yeah, you can
Okay.
do you want do you let me ask you a question. Do you want him to be here to actually hear you go first? Because like I said, I don't.
Well, this was his show and he's late, so we have other things to do. Yeah. If this was important with him, he wouldn't be in a fish fry Twitter space.
Hey, um, so go ahead and start it up then.
Okay. Okay, so I'm Antonia Edwards. I am Solidarity Community Engagement Group. We have three of us that are co-founders, Jonathan Bryant and Jonathan Keat. And we have other people in Boston that are part of our organization. Boston created an ordinance for a task force back in December. It was voted on December 14th. In that, the mayor stated that the budget would be $1 million total cap for the whole project. We had been waiting for the task force to be appointed. It was announced. Everything's on my page. I posted it. We have been waiting for the first meeting. They were delayed. They didn't get appointed until April. The first meeting was in June, I do believe. And they announced then that they were behind schedule, but they were going to ask for an extension and just basically bear with them. So we got a chance to meet the task force. The first meeting was pretty nice. Second meeting was okay as well too, because they're meeting once a month. I had been asked to be a community advisor, and in that I presented my portfolio, which is like a photo album, and also I presented my reparations work, which is basically like a portfolio as well too. And one of the things that we do at Solidarity is we collaborate with a network of organizations, and we don't just go out and just talk about solidarity. We definitely big up and we advocate for the knowledge from all the other groups. So in our package that we give at every event, we basically showcase United Sons and Daughters, Freedom Absolute, NAASD, Dawn's Genocide Report, and also we've done some stuff for Sasha as well. So whoever at the time has information that we think the community needs to see, because we do a lot of events, we buy the folders, print the documents in color, and we load it up with information to give people, and they seem to be very appreciative of that. In that, I was told that we were recognized for all of our community engagement work. A conversation was had to be a community advisor. I brought my portfolio, brought the work that we do in our community events, and then said that, there's a whole grassroots organization that I work with that we'd like to, be able to assist to educate the community. I was told to put the team together and have a meeting. I immediately talked to Mr. Arthur, who at that time was my mentor, who had worked with us on our proposal, and basically, had high respect for him at that time, and asked him would he join forces. Gabe got involved as well, too, on the phone. And then I met with United Sons and Daughters. That was Naheem and Ali. And I asked them, would they be interested in what their level of commitment is? And then I merged the two groups together with us on a Zoom call. The first Zoom call was immediately about money from Gabe. And Gabe was like, we have to create a budget. And he said, the budget is important. So he said about 3 or 4 times. And so finally we said, show me this budget. And so he said he was going to create the template to the budget, which he did. And he sent me an email asking me what I thought about it. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's what we're going to be looking for. That's nice. I'm not verbatim. That's what I said. And so then we had our meeting. In that meeting, there were 7 people on the call. There was myself. There was Jonathan. There was Shanette Drayton, who works with us. There was Saquon Gorman. I do believe Laredo was on. I could be wrong about that. But then it was Naheem Ali on the call. And at that point, that's when Gabe started plugging in the numbers to the budget. So I know this budget off the top of my head. So the CEO was supposed to be Solidarity at $145,000. Mr. Arthur was supposed to be the chief advisor at $125,000. And then there were 1, 2, 3 slots. There were like $90,000, $75,000 that were open. And Mr. Arthur said that Cynthia McDonald, which is Cam, wanted to end. And so she said she definitely wanted in. She was traveling in a meeting or work or whatever, but she wanted in. And then Gabe asked me to add Marlon in. And so I told them at that time, and I have the email to prove it, I'm not adding anybody else in right now because we just want to get our feet in the door. And once we get our feet in the door, we can collaborate with anybody across the nation. It didn't matter to me because my whole purpose of doing this was to show good faith and show that we could all work together. We can all produce a product to educate the community and work all together. And I had not really seen that across the nation. And that's one of the biggest things that we do as Solidarity is we collaborate with everybody. We don't just big up our team. We support everybody and we collaborate with them as long as there were reparations. Okay, so at that point, then the next figure was outreach, and it said personnel. And Gabe put his salary as $235,000. He listed all the things underneath his salary, press, advertising, whatever. And then he said he needed a spending budget of $125,000. Then the next line item was education. Now remember, this is for community advisor to educate the community on American freedmen. So the number one resource to me was United Sons and Daughters. He asked Naheem, he said, Naheem, do you think $90,000 is good enough? And Naheem then said, listen, I have to talk to the bros. He said, well, who wouldn't want $90,000? So I'm just really pissed off because I don't understand what the breakdown is. And I've had this conversation on Buffalo's Twitter space, and I also had it on Don's where I reamed her because I feel like this is like overkill. I don't understand why Gabe would put my name in a tweet and say, I'm going to dispel the lies of Antonia. So none of these conversations happened by myself. The whole team was on the call. All this stuff is verifiable. The bottom line is they were putting the cart before the horse. They kept emphasizing money, 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 money. To be a community advisor, there was no money mentioned. I didn't need a budget. I specifically told them that I wasn't talking to them about a budget. And then they kept pressuring to ask for money. And so by the time that budget was finished, it was $3 million. I asked them, I said, okay, so if you want, now mind you, we're laughing and texting each other behind the scenes, and my team can verify all this. Okay, because we thought they were out of their mind. I asked them specifically, since you're out of state, how does it work for traveling? I was told by Mr. Arthur that he wanted to be per diem. I said, okay, so if you get a salary, you wouldn't travel out of your salary? He said, no. I said, it wouldn't be reimbursable? He said, no. He said, I want a 5-star hotel, I want the best Italian restaurant, and I want the most expensive bottle of wine. Of course we laughed. Okay, the next thing is, they keep getting this confused about an RFP. The conversation that we initially had was community advisors to educate the community. The Reparation Task Force was over 30 days behind and hadn't even drafted the RFP when we had these conversations. The RFP was going to be coming down the line, and I did mention that to them. And as a matter of fact, after we had our last meeting with my source, which was we met on the 16th of July and the 21st of July, I went to a meeting about the RFP. When I came back with the RFP, I'm like, if the RFP for research consultants is $500,000. I copied, I scanned, I sent the RFP to each of them. There is no misunderstanding with regards to this budget. This budget was done on day one, which was July 5th, after I met with them. Money was always the objective. The harassment, the condescending comments about, do you know how to negotiate, or can we negotiate for you? I'm going to talk to your mayor. And Gabe even went behind my back and talked to my contact by emailing them. That to me is still overstepping your boundaries and superseding yourself. So we had already decided that we didn't want to deal with them. And out of the sprint of just keeping up the consistency for the 2 meetings that we obligated ourselves to, there were 2 meetings, July 16th and 21st, and then we never had a conversation with them again because they had played themselves. Also in this conversation from this time period, I had understood that Mr. Arthur said that he doesn't believe in local reparations and he was going to fuck up Boston reparations. That to me is a direct, not only the threat, disrespect. So why would I pay you to fuck up anything that I do? So I don't know if people think I'm slow or if I'm like weak or whatever. None of the above. I just handle things a different way. If I don't like you and I don't want to deal with you, I just ignore you. Poof, you're gone. I don't have to talk to you. I don't have to deal with you. So all this conversation about Anthony and RFP, we even have people on Boston on the call. Okay, I see Reggie from Boston. There was no RFP on July 5th. There was no RFP on July 16th. There was no RFP on July 21st. This was a project to educate the community on American freedmen, and that was it. There was no money spoke about. And I refused to ask for money because I was asked to do it. And so that's just like a job. If somebody sees you doing a good job and they say, I may have a job for you, can you come talk to us? And we talk to them. Let them tell you what the salary is. I don't beg anybody for anything. I don't beg anybody for money. I don't ask for money. My team doesn't get donations. We may have got a donation back in 2021. We do everything out of our pocket. So money's not our motivator. You won't find one person that will tell you that we've never not paid our dues, we've never not contributed to their team, and that we ask them for anything. We give out free books. We've been giving out Dr. Darity's books for the last 3 years, $500 to $1,000 a bulk. We pay for all of our materials. We're not money hungry. So to have this total persona is total different than how we know Mr. Arthur and Gabe to be, and it's all about money, was really shocking to us. And so this is not Antonia's story. So I'm taking it personal because Gabe put my name in a tweet and said there's lies. It's not my story. These were Zoom calls with the whole team. I've never had a conversation with them separate about this project of being a community advisor without everybody. And so to me, I don't know why you're setting yourself up for this dummy mission, Gabe, and a suicide mission. There are no lies. And then when I heard last week that Don Mulio and whoever, I don't even know these people, said that there was a grift for $60,000, I immediately stepped up to the plate and got into the spaces and said, that's a lie. Gabe never grifted us for $60,000. There was no $60,000. We've never been paid. There's never been a contract. So for him to put my name in a fucking spaces is a direct threat to me. So you're challenging me. You're coming from me. And then I understand it to be that he says that Naheem called him a grifter. Why wasn't Naheem's name in there? Why are you coming after me as a woman? So I'm not scared. I don't have nothing to hide. I have no reason to lie. I'm not going to sabotage my own work. We have 3 bills. We have the city of Boston. We have the Massachusetts State bill. We have Cambridge, and we have Connecticut on the way. Why would I sabotage my own work? That doesn't make any sense. So I don't know what the problem is. I really don't. I thought I had covered everything with the other 2 spaces, but I'm just really disappointed and feel really disrespected with regards to putting my name in a spaces, my name or a tweet. My name doesn't appear anywhere. I don't have no beef with anybody to this magnitude. I don't bother anybody. I'm not on Twitter every day. I'm on the ground. I'm working every single day. And another thing I want to say, keep my fucking kid's name out of your mouth. Stop talking about my kid who is 24 years old and autistic and my mother. I'm not going to say who told me, but Chicago, keep my kid's name out of your mouth. My son being autistic don't got nothing to do with any of this. And my mom having dementia doesn't have anything to do with this. Now you're taking it to the point that you're taking it to the street. If you talk about my mother and my son again, it's going to be a major problem. And I'm promising you that. There's no reason in the world why people are talking about people's kids. My son is not a kid. My son is 24 years old, and he lives better than anybody in Chicago. He lives in a gated community, movie theater, swimming pool, tennis court, and he has a job. And he doesn't beg for money. And he doesn't try to rob people for money. And with regards to my mother having dementia, yes, she does. But what the fuck does that have to do with reparation work? So I'm telling you right now, keep my mother and my son out of your mouth. And I'll just go on pause for right now. Thank you for letting me get that off my chest. My team is here. They can back up everything I say. I have screenshots that when I take time, I can put them in your Jumbotron. I don't appreciate the disrespect. I've never bothered anybody. I don't come on Twitter talking shit about anybody. I stay in my lane. And I do real reparations work.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Appreciate you coming in and dropping that that knowledge. Like I said, we still waiting on Gabe. He said he sent a tweet out that he's still running late. So Naheem, you're up here as a speaker. I know you want to speak as well too. Is there something you want to add? We're still waiting on Gabe to come up in the actual space as well too. Actually, Arthur is up here. You want to let Arthur go first?
Well, let me just say real quick, peace to the room, BJ, Newstoter, Sister Antonia, you already know. Like she said, I'm gonna start backwards. She's a real reparationist, and she's putting in real reparations work. And there, I tell people all the time, there's things going on behind the scenes that a lot of people have no idea about, and that's a fact. And this sister and her team out in Boston is putting in work, and she gives us the privilege of sharing information with us and involving us in the process. And I just want to give this sister her flowers and her team. Brother Jonathan, I see you, fam, and everybody that's out there doing work. I was invited to a Zoom call where it's one system's going in, spitting that hot freedom fire. And the mayor jumped on the Zoom call. It was good. It was really good. And I just want to say, like, there's real political work being done, because that's what reparations is. It's a political thing that has to be done through the legislative body in this country, right? And so anybody that's serious about this thing, well, they're gonna make those moves and do the things necessary to elevate reparations. And that's what it's at the local level or at the federal level. So I just wanted to give that sister our props. And everybody that's working across the nation, we know who you are. Everything the sister said was 100% true. And that's what I'm up here for. I'm really just up here to back this sister up. I could get into some shit, but I'm not, unless it happens. And happens to come up, then I'll get into whatever explanations. I'm the type, Mr. Just the Facts. Who gonna call me a liar and fool? So I'll leave out from there. But everything the sister said is 100% true.
All right. All right. Thank you. Gabe, I see you up in the space. I sent you the invite, so or you can request to speak. Let me go ahead and let Arthur go ahead and speak. Arthur, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay, thank you. I'd rather for Gabe to speak first, but I would like to make some connections, some corrections rather. There's only one budget that was generated out of Chicago, and that budget certainly did not have Gabe making over $200,000. So I don't know where that budget came from. The very budget that they have, and there's only one budget that we have. And yes, that did come to $1.3 million. You're absolutely right. And this is why I came to that. When it comes to doing reparations work, there are three layers when it comes to how people should be treated. When you're talking about doing organizational work, let's say if I was doing something inside for Freedmen Chicago, or if I was doing something inside for the Freedmen organization in Boston, Solidarity, that's total volunteer work. You don't charge for that. When you're doing commission work, if you're on a reparations commission, you don't get paid for that. You get, let's say, a per diem made for food and compensated for travel expenses or hotel expenses. That's right and proper. But when you are doing consulting work for a city like Boston or a state like the state of Massachusetts, you're supposed to get paid. And it's just like when a person comes into your home and let's say he's a plumber, he looks at your situation, and the very first thing he does is price it out. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're doing nothing no different from any other consulting situation when a city or a state asks you to do that kind of work. That's just the way it is.
All right, Arthur. You got anything else you want to add, or you good?
No, I'm good for right now.
Okay. Stilettos, and I know Gabe, you were up in the space. I don't see you, but if you're up in here, like I said, go ahead and just request to speak to come on up. But Stilettos, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay, so first of all, we never asked them to do any consulting work. We didn't put the cart before the horse like them. Again, we were asked to be community advisors, in that there would be a project to educate 22 communities on American freemen reparations work. So there was no budget that was needed. They forced the budget. Every day there was a harassment about this budget. And even the condescending remarks like, do you know how to negotiate? Do I need to call your mayor? Even Gabe had emailed my contact behind my back. There was no need for all that. We weren't asking for money to be community advisors. We were waiting after we went through the screening process to see what the city of Boston was saying. Excuse me. I didn't know.
Wait. Yeah, wait, Arthur, and that's why I normally want to keep one speaker up here, but let her go ahead and finish, and then you can come up here.
So again, the RFP, I put everything into the chat that I had. We were talking July 2nd, 3rd, and my meeting was the 5th. And then after that, we had a meeting with everybody the first week of July, after 4th of July. There was no RFP. The RFP did not come out as a draft until the end of July. I could never speak on what was going to be on the RFP because I didn't know. And I just put the original draft of the RFP in your chat as well too. It was $500,000. So to have Mr. Arthur and Mr. Gabe and whoever explain, how the hell are you going to make Boston pay you $1.3 million when their cap was $500,000? I would look like a fool advocating to spend them to sit on the phone and talk to me from Chicago as a chief advisor. Why would I pay you? I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Why would I, Antonia Edwards, who's from Roxbury, pay somebody in Chicago to sit on the phone to be my chief advisor? Why would I? Why? To advise me to do what? You're not even doing the shit in your own city, own state. The only reason why I included Mr. Arthur in this is because he has been very instrumental, and will you help us with our proposal and the fine-tuning it? We were up at plenty times at night making sure it made sense. I respected him. I don't respect him now because the Mr. Arthur that we've seen since July is all about money. All about money. Antonia, put on your dress, put on your lip gloss, and go get our money. Oh, now you're Chill Will from Chicago. So what I'm saying is, there's levels of disrespect and levels of playing themselves since July. It wasn't like this before. And I've worked with Mr. Arthur. So I don't know what they don't understand, but everybody else on the call, everybody else in the meetings understood that there were two different entities. I didn't need you to create a budget. You guys kept saying you needed a budget. But again, why would I have my city pay you $1.3 million to talk to me from Chicago? And if you came here, I would have to put you up in a 5-star hotel. You have to give you the best Italian restaurant and the most expensive bottle of wine. Get the fuck out of here. That shit's crazy.
All right, Arthur, go ahead and respond.
I think you should get the fuck out of here because you have actually put up a whole pile of lies that didn't even happen, Anthony, and you should stop it right now. First of all,
hey, one speaker at a time, guys, or we're gonna have to drop it down and just have one speaker up here. It's Arthur's term, and we'll let you go.
Because we're gonna be
okay. Arthur, I'm gonna get back to you. Arthur's gonna speak. After Arthur speak, you can go ahead and you can respond to what he has to say. Go ahead, Arthur.
Okay, so it's gonna get hot up here because we're gonna be comparing notes. 1.3 million is a total budget for consulting or advising, which are synonyms, okay? They mean the same thing, Antonia. 145,000, I'm gonna spell it out right here. This is the actual budget. Also, this budget is not something that would go to the city of Boston. This is an estimate in terms of what it takes to do what the city of Boston wanted us to do. This is an internal document. $145,000 would go to Antonia. $125,000 would go to me. First VP, $95,000 would go to Gabe. Second VP would go to Jonathan, $95,000. Third position, administrative assistant, would be $75,000. Okay, and that would be someone that Antonia would appoint, not me. Then the second section where the bulk of the money is, outreach money, personnel, event manager, web development, other personnel, that comes to $275,000. Material distribution, printing, not on a copy, not on a paper copy, actual printing for materials that need to be produced. That comes to $75,000. $55,000 will come to phone banking to inform the community. Also, in that $275,000 comes web development, because we want to have a classy web presence for this particular project. Public forums. Let's say if you're using facilities, that comes to $17,000. That costs money. You have to pay that. Press, advertising costs $125,000. That's both print and social media. Then when we get to the education part, $145,000 goes to Naeem. And then there were 2 extra spaces that we left open in case Naeem needed more money to fulfill the education part. So that would have been more money. Travel, yes, $85,000, and that comes all personnel involved. And then that total comes to $1,300,000. That, ladies and gentlemen, is usually cost for a project like that for a city or state, and that's what's normally charged, that kind of money. And Antonia was not going to have me sit there waiting on the city of Boston to throw us a bone when we're actually supposed to be telling them what a project like this costs.
Can I ask a couple of questions?
Okay, go ahead. Okay, one person at a time. I want to go ahead and get it around so everybody up here that wants to ask a question. Now, Arthur and
I'm not talking to Don, so don't ask me shit.
What is the hourly that you guys?
Okay, like I say, we're gonna do it one speaker at a time.
I'm not talking to her. Nobody.
We're gonna do one speaker at a time, or we're gonna drop everybody down and we're gonna have only one speaker up here at a time.
I'll just say this then. Clearly, they don't want to be questioned by anyone who understands.
I don't want to be questioned.
No,
Okay, I'm gonna say it again, and this is what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna drop everybody down except Gabe, because Gabe, it's time for Gabe. He's up here now. I'm gonna drop everybody down except Gabe and Antoinette, and everybody else. Y'all can stay down until we bring you back up, because we're not gonna have everybody coming off their mic. We telling everybody, give us a chance, give us a second. We'll let you all speak, but nobody wants to go ahead and do that. So let us go ahead and get one person at a time, and then because this is about Gabe, so let's let Gabe go ahead and speak on this as well too.
Am I gonna get to ask my questions?
Yeah, we'll bring you up in a second, Don, because the title is about Gabe, so we're gonna get Gabe up here and let him speak.
Nobody's answering the questions. Nope.
Hey,
I don't think you want the real story out either.
no, it's not the only real story. Don't be up here telling lies. Because again, we just had a 10-hour space last night saying the exact same thing. Y'all gotta stop telling lies on everybody. So this is the whole justification I have in this space.
The way he framed that contract is.
Hey, Don, we're gonna let you speak, but Gabe is up here. Gabe needs to go ahead. Everybody else has been speaking. Gabe needs to come up here and speak, and you can speak as well too. So I'm removing. Okay.
Problem. This is a problem, y'all. You know what I mean? This is a problem. We ain't got no decorum. I have no respect. Like, come on now.
If Don continues, I'm leaving.
Go ahead. Hey, DJ.
Yeah, I'm here, bro.
Okay, because I'm trying to remove some speakers and stuff up here. Gabe is disconnecting, so I don't know if he's having some issues or whatnot. Because I want Gabe to come up here and speak, because the space is by him and everybody's speaking right now. So he needs to come up here and he needs to, he needs to address what they're saying. So I'm trying to get him to come up here. Stilettos, we're gonna get back to you too, but I want Gabe to, huh?
Can I just ask a question?
Go ahead until he comes up here.
Okay, can I have you bring Naheem back up? Because Naheem was on all the calls. And first of all, that budget that they just read off, we never seen. I just showed you the budget that we had. And the email that he sent us the spreadsheet in, he blocked it, so I can't even open it back up. We never seen a budget like that.
Okay.
And only Naheem can verify that.
Okay, I'm gonna bring Naheem up here.
Thank you.
I'm gonna bring him up here. Shut up. I'm gonna get you up here, Ray. I see you up here. For right now, y'all stay requesting. Let Gabe go ahead, and then we can go ahead and start moving it around the room. Gabe, do you want to go ahead and respond to? Hold on, Gabe. Do you want to go ahead and respond to what's been said so far?
Yeah, and I missed some of it. I apologize to everyone for being late. Those of you who are, hold on. First of all, can you hear me? Okay, let me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Good. Okay. And, for my Chicago people, I was on the 6th, so you know how that can be. I apologize to everyone. I really just want to make a couple of simple points, and if I need to, I can put stuff up on the jumbotron. But my guess is, these are things that would be hard to argue with because they're documented. One is Antonia reached out through Arthur to me in June, asking for assistance to produce a response to an RFP that she had been informed, kind of like an insider, not insider, but she has relationships with the mayor's office. So they had said to her, look, the RFP is coming out, we're starting to write it. We want you to be prepared, to do some outreach and other things. So we got on the call, and at that time, I think I heard Anthony say this earlier, we didn't know what the RFP was going to be at that point in time. But the idea was, well, let's be ready, right? You don't just wait, because this is the advantage that we were afforded, or that Antonia was afforded, when she wanted a team to help prepare her. So I agreed to do some work for her in preparation for that. And this is not I do this work. Last year, I did, a very similar project for Heartland Alliance in Chicago. People who know Heartland know it's one of the largest nonprofits in the city. It was related to a health clinic. This is the kind of stuff I do. So this isn't like something random, nor was the conversation we had based on guesswork. We were unsure what that was going to be. The initial conversation was, okay, we don't know what the RFP is going to look like. Let's try to figure it out. Let's see if we can come up with, some kind of a response that we can then tailor once we actually see the RFP. We produced 3 things, and I was lead on all 3 of them. One was the budget, one was the narrative, and one was the deck. Cynthia McDonald was also critical in getting that deck up to speed. And the idea was, well, what could they want to do, and what could they want the team to do, and what could it cost? So, and we had a conversation about expense and about how much they might be willing to budget, and what how we should respond to that. And it is absolutely the case that Antonia threw out. Antonia said, look, we got to, we're probably not going to be offered much money. We're not really sure exactly what our place is going to be in this, but I'm not expecting very much. And our response was, we should at least start with a budget that reflects, what's possible, because you can always adjust it. This is an internal document. And that was kind of the point, was for all of us to understand the numbers matter, right? But the proportionality of the numbers in some ways matter more. The idea is, the person who is leading the whole thing, Antonia, should be compensated at a rate of about 1.5 times most other people. The lead on education, same thing, which everyone agrees with Naheem. Now, I think the really important thing for everyone to understand is these documents. I've got I've got things that I can show you, but I'm hoping we'll all just be reasonable. documents in no way, shape, or form were surreptitiously developed. We worked on all this stuff together. The budget we wrote together. I mean, this stuff literally got written together. I did write the narrative largely myself after meetings where I took notes from everybody. And then I put them into a narrative and I sent it back to Antonia. And her praise was definitive in terms of how she felt about the job I did on that narrative. I'm saying all this to say, in some places, and I'm gonna try to avoid the rumors. There are so many of them. In some corners, or trying to say who said what or whatever, people have said that Antonia is saying she didn't ask for any of this. That's not the case. Antonia said I had a call with her and Arthur. This was before we got together with the whole team, and she said there's an RFP coming out, and I need somebody to help me prepare the response to it. And I said, okay, well, I've done this before, and what that means is you need three things. You need a narrative, you need a budget, and you need a deck. In the budget, we get to the budget by starting with what we think the budget could be. Now, I want to say something about the budget as kind of a side note. Because we didn't know, and because Antonia was saying, be as, make it as cheap as possible, we developed a budget for outreach and education for the entire city of Boston for one team. Like if Antonia was able to get the whole project, what would it cost her to do that for the city? And the number I came up with is $1.3 million. She is saying the city is only, is now has issued an RFP for a much larger scope of work for $500,000. That's not the case. It's a $600,000 renewable contract, meaning it's a $1.2 million budget. So we came up with 1.3, which is 1.2 plus travel, because Naeem's team and our team are not in the city. And the city of Boston came up with 1.3 million with very different priorities. That's because we start from the grassroots, we start from our own experience, our perspective. But this shouldn't shock anybody. Now, finally, and I think for a lot of people, the whole reason they're here, there's people going around saying, "I wrote a budget," and I've heard people say that Anthony is saying this too, where I pay myself a whole bunch of money, way more than Vernon or anybody else. The only thing that I can infer from this, to the extent that this is being said, is that the entire outreach staff, the line item, the entire outreach staff, if you look at that line item, it is 3 people plus other personnel. It doesn't even, it's like 3 plus people sharing $275,000 line item, where the chief reparations officer, her, is getting $145,000. Naeem is getting $145,000. The first and second VP are getting $95,000 each. In other words, $275,000 is a line item. It does involve an event manager, a web developer, a comms director, and other personnel. And the comms director potentially could be me. But please remember that Antonia asked me to be on this team. I did not go to her with the budget and say, I think I'm worth this much, put me on your team. It was never up to me whether or not I was going to be on this team. It was always up to Antonia. And if we're all, being transparent, I think people will confirm that to the extent that anyone was talking about who was going to be where, Antonia was assigning people. This is her project. It's the Solidarity Team proposal. If you look at the document that's floating around, that's the name of it. To me, that's the beginning and end of it. I was asked to write a budget, a narrative, and produce a deck, because when she said I need to be prepared for an RFP, I said that's what's required. She said okay. When I sent her that material, her responses were very, very positive, very glowing. There is a line item for $275,000.
Hey, Gabe, can you speak a little bit louder?
Yeah, let me see. I'm sorry. Let me also just check and see if I need to adjust anything in my.
If you got a headset on, take it off or anything.
No, I'm plugged in. I'm turning levels up now. Is this better?
Yeah, we hear loud and clear.
Yeah, that's good. Go ahead.
All right. So, yeah, you know what? I think that's probably plenty. I'm just gonna, the last thing I'm gonna say, which is not to the fact, but just an observation. This is heartbreaking. These are people I like and respect. If you look at Anthony, if you look at Solidarity's Facebook page, it is months and months of me, just praising what they're doing and thanking them for the hard work they're doing in my home city of Boston, etc. Everyone knows Naeem and I don't talk about Friedman without talking about Naeem. And I will always say that the extent to which I'm on, Team Friedman, a huge part of that is just his ability to very, clearly make the case that it's the best language to be used when we start talking about legislative solutions and so forth for reparations. I hate that we're here. I have an idea of what happened, but I'm really trying to avoid. There's enough negative energy. I already heard a lot of it on there. I just want to say, it's a shame that we're where we are, and I wish that somehow this could have been handled in house. But there were conversations that I wasn't a part of that turned into a game of telephone, and people all over the country were talking about, a thing that I supposedly was doing that I didn't do. I guess that's enough for now. Thanks everybody for your patience.
All right. Let me go ahead and we got Marlon. We have your campaign manager, Marlon. Do you want to say something about this situation here, or are you good for right now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'll speak briefly. So first I'll say that, and forgive my impeded speech, I have stitches in my gums right now, but I'll say, just as a point for everybody listening on the call, this is why, and I talked to Gabriel about this yesterday, this is why when you have meetings, you have a note taker. So, if there are ever issues, you can go back, review notes, and see who said what, when, and where. And in today's climate, we have Zoom, so people can record meetings, and the note taker can abbreviate, which makes it a whole lot easier. And at the end of the meeting, you send the notes and the recordings to everybody involved. So if there are ever issues, those things can be reviewed. And I also suggest that if the calls in question were recorded, which most people record Zooms today anyway, if the calls were recorded, I would suggest that those calls be put in a depository, maybe on Google somewhere, so the involved parties can look and review to see who said what, when, where, and get to the bottom of it. So I would suggest that. Secondly, I'm somebody who considers myself a friend of Antonia, friendly with Antonia, definitely friendly and a friend of Naeem. We've known each other for the past 4 or 5 years. We've all worked on things together. We all have a certain amount of respect for one another. So this isn't, as Gabe alluded to, this isn't strangers, this isn't strangers talking about a situation. These are people who know each other, who respect each other. And it's right now at an unfortunate space that, I've tried to help resolve and hadn't been able to. So to talk to a couple of the details, I was not involved in any of the proceedings. Gabe reached out to me, as well as Arthur, a few months ago and said that Antonia reached out to them about needing help with an RFP. And for those who don't know, an RFP is a request for money. That's what it is. Whenever you get an RFP from any government body or anybody, it's a request for proposal. That's a request for money. So they told me that she reached out looking for help with that. And they asked me if I'd be interested in helping. Now, at this current space in my life, I really don't have the bandwidth to help in any serious way. But I told them that if they needed my help in any regard, reach out to me and I'd be happy to help. So Arthur, Cynthia, and Gabe took on a task. I was not involved in any meetings, was never on any Zoom calls. I only heard about what's going on now about a month or so ago on a call with Naeem, Anthony, and a few other people. And when they told me what had allegedly happened, they'll tell you that I was, apologetic to them because I was just hurt that it had happened. I didn't know what happened outside of what they told me, but I was just hurt. So I was apologetic, and I told them I would reach out to Gabe, Cynthia, and Arthur, tell them what happened, and tell them to reach out to the people that are accusing them. I did that. Gabe and Arthur reached out to Naeem. They reached out to Antonia, but no conversations were had. So subsequent to that, I had started trying to piece information together so I could hope to bring some resolution to the situation. And what I come to find out is the big issues were that there was a leak. Somebody leaked the document, which is the budget, to someone outside of the committee. And there were folks who were saying that Cynthia, Gabe, and Arthur allegedly wanted Naeem off of the commission. And also that there was a fictitious budget. So, and I've shared this with Antonia. Well, first I'll get to the leak. So the idea that there was a leak, meaning somebody from Chicago shared the budget with somebody outside of the committee. I've spoken with Gabe, Cynthia, and Arthur. They've confirmed that they've told me that it wasn't from them. There was there were two people that received the document, and I won't mention their names because I don't know if they want to be involved, but the only other two people that received the document, one of them received an email from Antonia. The email from Antonia, and I have a screen cap of the email, it had no narrative. It was just, here's the budget. The only other person that got the leak is someone, again, who I won't mention. But Gabe, Cynthia, and Arthur told me that this person confirmed to them that they did not receive it from anybody in Chicago. They received it from Antonia. So the leak came from Antonia. That's the first thing, seemingly. Secondly, Antonia consistently talks about a fictitious budget. And we've covered this on calls and kind of dealt with this on calls prior to this moment. Every time I hear her talk about this, she talks about a fictitious budget. Fictitious means it's fake. And I heard her in a particular space say, this fictitious budget that nobody agreed to or accepted. That is an impossibility because I have screen caps of email or screen caps of emails right now where Antonia is thanking Gabe for the budget template. In fact, I'll read one. This is her responding to Gabe on June 26th. And I'll read the one on June 24th first. It's her responding to Gabe on June 24th, 2023. It says, "Good afternoon, Gabe. This is exactly what we needed. I'm truly impressed. Let's see what the others have to say. Thank you so much. I knew I could count on you to save me in this pinch, LOL. If you're saying I knew you could count on, she knew she could count on Gabe to save her in this pinch, that implies that she asked Gabe to save her in the pinch." Okay? And this is her responding to him sending her the proposal. The second email is her on June 26th, 2023. And it's in response to a document titled Solidarity Team Budget Worksheet. Okay? And it reads, Gabe. This is Antonia's talking to Gabe. "This layout is excellent. Exactly the way I expected it to be. Thanks so much. The last email I'll read, and these are screen caps that I was sent. It's her talking about, and this email happened, I would say maybe around in August 24th to be exact. This is after everything had blown up, and everybody was arguing and fighting. This was her responding to, I think, Gabe in an email thread. She says, "You are absolutely right. There are no names on the spreadsheet." She's referencing the budget template. "However, the names/titles were a part of the proposal presented to my contact on July 21st, 2023. She's also confirmed, and I think she's confirmed on this call, that around the 1st of July, as Gabe just alluded to, her, Naeem, and several other people were on a Zoom call where Gabriel was penning in the numbers for the budget template that she thanked him for. So again, the idea that the budget is fictitious, which she constantly says, it's just not true. That is just not true. You can't. Fictitious means it's fake. You've already said that it was a budget that people didn't know or accept or acknowledge. That's not true. That is untrue. And back to the leak, the only way we can confirm that is if we talk to the person who suggested that she got the document from Antonia, not anybody from Chicago. Well, we had that person on a call a few days ago. Antonia asked her a question, an unrelated question to who she got the budget from, and then swiftly hung up on her. So, we can't. These things are just very, very unfortunate. And the last thing I'll speak to is the idea that Gabe, Cynthia, and Arthur are swindlers of money or con artists or con men. There was a space that Naeem did, and I didn't hear the space I've been looking for, but I haven't been able to find it. But there was a clip of it. And in that clip, Jonathan and Naeem were kind of going back and forth, saying that Arthur, Gabe, and Cynthia, I don't know if they were talking about all three, but at least one of them were grifters. Listen, you may not like a person, you may feel a particular way about a person, and that's everybody's prerogative to feel how they feel about whomever for whatever. But when we start saying things like things are fictitious, which implies dishonesty, or when we say things like a person is a grifter, which is a serious impugning of a person's character, without facts, without evidence, it's unnecessary. So I'm going to say, and I'll close here, I've known and dealt with Arthur and Cynthia and Gabe for the past 4 or 5 years. There has never been, not even an inkling of me thinking that they were swindling money or grifters. I've never gotten that from them. And even when I was told about it, I didn't say that they didn't do it. I said, well, let me see, let me find out, try to find out the facts. So I left it in my mind, I left it open that maybe there was some truth to it because I didn't know. I wasn't in the proceedings. But like I said, knowing them for the past 4 or 5 years, we've handled money together, we've dealt with money together, we currently still do, and there has never been a suspicion of anything improper in that regard.
All right. Okay. Stilettos, I'm gonna let you go ahead. And we got some other hands up. We got some other people up here, so I want to go ahead and start getting to some of the people that may want to speak as well too. So go ahead.
Thank you. So I just want to go from the last part first. First of all, Ms. Evanston reject Mrs. Rose. She's the one who leaked it. Ms. Rose sent me a text message saying that she wanted to apologize to me because she was overwhelmed from the information that she was receiving from Chicago and also what I had verified with her. That I talked to Ms. Rose back July, I think it was the beginning of July, when Gabe created the budget. She said that she leaked it to Morgan, who was in Philly. Morgan had Gerard from Ohio on the phone. They called me and asked me, what's going on with this $1.3 million budget you're saying you're paying out to the Freeman descendants of Chicago and also Naheem. They were talking trash about both of the teams. Why are you giving them money? Why are you dealing with them? Whatever, so forth and so on. So Miss Everson Reject is right down there. I can see her text message where she said she wanted to apologize to me. When she was on the call the other evening, I called her while they were talking about her. I said, they want to talk to you. They want to hear what you have to say. I didn't stop this problem. I didn't leak the information. As far as the information, I didn't tell anybody outside of our group about it. I wouldn't sabotage myself. I said, can you at least tell them that you called to text me to say that you want to talk to me to apologize because you leaked it. I put my phone on speaker. They were on Zoom. I said, Miss Rose, did you or did you not apologize to me for leaking the information to Morgan, whatever? She said yes. That wasn't enough for them. They want to know who leaked it. She said, I don't want to deal with this shit anymore. The phone hung up. They're holding me responsible because she wouldn't stay on the phone. That's not my problem. She verified what I needed to verify. She leaked it. As far as the documents concerned, when Morgan contacted me, and I do believe it was August 18th, because I have the text message, to talk to me about some stuff, when I called her back, and I hadn't talked to Morgan since January. Morgan didn't even like me. So when she called me, I'm like, what's going on? Oh, I just want to talk about Naheem being in California. I know you're not dealing with this motherfucker, whatever, so the sort. And what's up with this $1.3 million that you're paying Chicago descendants of Freeman and also Naheem and them? They're grifters. I'm like, well, how did you find out about the budget? She said, Miss Rose. So I said, first of all, it's not our budget, it's Gabe's budget. And I did send her the email to verify that it didn't come for us because it was a part of his Google Docs. He created it. Okay. Miss Rose did not receive the screen print of the document for the spreadsheet until August 28th. I didn't leak that to her. Miss Rose should come up and she should verify that she's the one who leaked the information from the Chicago or Illinois area to Morgan. I did not leak that information. Okay, let's go back to the template. Marlon keeps having these word gymnastics and this like, the word, this word game. I said it's a fictitious fake budget because Gabe just admitted it. He said that he did not know what the RFP would be and know if they didn't know. We weren't talking about the RFP in our original conversations. We were talking about educating the community. There was no RFP for that. And I did tell them, down the line, there'll be an RFP. They put the cart before the horse. And I just gave 100% twice because he said exactly what I said. They wanted to prepare for the RFP. But I always told them that they weren't going to pay $1.3 million. And I wasn't asking for $1.3 million. I'm not going to look stupid in my own community asking for something that doesn't exist. The original RFP that came out late July was for $500,000. That was to be divided by 6 units. What they did was they divided the time periods by 6 units. Choose a time period. They weren't giving the project to one a scholar or one organization, academia. They wanted each organization to pick one of the 6 time periods. So that $500,000 on the original draft would be divided by 6, and me, Gabe, and everybody in the call even divided as $80,000 per each team. And Mr. Arthur said, I wouldn't do this for less than $800,000. Okay, when the final RFP came out, which just came out, it's not even out yet, but the meeting was last Thursday, they boosted it up to $600,000. Same scenario, divided by the 6 time periods. So what I'm trying to explain, Arthur and Mr. Gabe just admitted the same thing that I've been saying. They put the cart before the horse. I reached out to them to do community outreach for educational purposes for Naheem, but United Sons and Daughters, Ali, to be able to educate the community on American Freemen because our bills say American Freemen. There was no money attached to it as yet. They didn't even allow the process to go through because they were so consumed with the RFP and this $1.3 million. And they're now saying that the RFP is for 6 months at $600,000, whatever. That's not what they were talking about. And that spreadsheet that they just read off, we've never seen. We never seen that spreadsheet. The spreadsheet that I sent the screenshot of is the spreadsheet that we were laughing at when they were talking about these things. We've never seen a revised spreadsheet. And as far as me saying, this is just what we're looking for, it was the slide deck and the template, the complete spreadsheet for the budget. The layout. And they're saying exactly what I'm saying. The layout, the template, the slide deck. They've never presented a proposal to the city of Boston. The slide deck is an introduction. It has me first, Mr. Arthur. I think it has Jonathan, and then it has Gabe as being communication person, and then it has United Sons and Daughters. It was an introduction slide sheet so that they would know who they were talking to, who was on the phone. There's never been a proposal submitted by them, never been a budget, and that's why I call it fictitious and fake. If Gabe just said, let's play with some numbers and see what we come up with, that's fake and fictitious. Maybe it's geographical. I call that fake. I call it fictitious. And I'm not going to sit here and go through word semantics and try to prove that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. The budget was created and the numbers were put in by Gabe from his own mouth. He created the numbers. He threw them in. And then he asked Naheem, do you think $90,000 is good enough for United Sons and Daughters? That's the only person he asked about. But the numbers that they just read off on a spreadsheet, we've never seen. And that's not what I sent to anybody. So I'm not gonna take the blame for that. But if everybody wants to be so kumbaya and so, oh, I'm sorry this happened, why is Antonia's name in a tweet saying that I lied? Show me what part I lied about. And everything that you all just said is all about money. Everything you all just confirmed is all about money. It was never about money for us. It was about getting out the message, American freedmen. It was about educating the community. We didn't care if we got paid. And I said that to you all. We never cared if we got paid. We didn't care if we got $50,000. We said that we would spread it between the team and we would put it into the curriculum and the educating the community. We never asked for a salary. And when I said to you that this is exactly what we're looking for, it was the slide deck because it was perfect. And from what I understand, Cynthia did help Gabe with it, and I did thank her for that, whatever, and I really appreciate it. It looks excellent. They did something. They did something that I wasn't able to do, and I did reach out to them to do that. And all the material went to Gabe. All the material went to Gabe to put in the slide deck. But as far as me saying I'm okay with a budget, I never said I was okay with a budget because there were no numbers in the budget. It was a template, and we all sat on the phone. Excuse me, Gabe. I'm not done yet. I didn't speak when you spoke. Please don't disrespect me. You sat on the phone with all of us, and you plugged in the numbers. When you sent me the template to the budget, yes, this is exactly what we need. I want you to spell it out for me, this budget that you think we need. And I kept saying to you, you say we need a budget. You keep saying we need a budget. Show me your budget. So stop making it seem like I came to you to ask you to find money for me. I wouldn't need you to find money in my home community. I'm from Roxbury. I'm from Boston. I know who to talk to. All I was trying to do was build a network to make sure that we all were a part of something that was massive and great. Massachusetts admitting the reparations for slavery is unheard of. And so that's all I tried to do. And I'll never do it again. I will never work with any of you. Because all you're doing is creating lies and spinning the truth, and then you're telling the truth, and then you're making it about money, but I'm the liar. So I just want Naheem to come up and confirm what was being said. So as far as a leak, I wouldn't leak and sabotage my own self. And I'm going to say something to you. Nobody in Boston knew about this. So if nobody knew in Boston about it, why would I leak it in Chicago, Philadelphia, and Ohio, and California? That makes no sense. And another thing, too, it's me who's interacting by myself in the community with the legislators and stuff like that. My team is 1,000% supportive when we do events and stuff. However, I wouldn't put myself out in the lion's den on a fire only to sabotage my own stuff. That makes absolutely no sense. But I want to thank Gabe for proving the point that you put the cart before the horse. And because you're thinking based on your expertise, it was important to put together a budget for an RFP that never existed at that time.
All right. Gabe, you want to and let me go ahead because I see Arthur's up here. Arthur, go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and get to you, Sir Major. I'll give you a chance to speak as well too. Go ahead, Arthur.
Real quick, usually when cities and states want you to do a task, they don't put out an RFP right away. But whenever you are working for a state or a city, especially at a consultational level like this, you're supposed to be paid. Period. Now, as far as I don't know how to put this in the jumbotron, but Gabe or Marlon or maybe Cynthia, if you could do this, we only produced one budget, and that budget was one in which Antonia would be making $145,000. So would Naheem, and then the total came up to $1.3 million. But the email that I'm looking at was originally sent from Antonia on August 17th, 2023 to Morgan. And then I had Morgan to send it back to me. I had her to send it back to me on August the 22nd. So if someone could put that, so in other words, this email originally came from Antonia. So,
First of all, I
wait a minute. And it's not the same budget that was given to Rose. There are two budgets out there. And one was produced by whomever, and the one that Morgan has is the one that was produced by us.
Okay,
So if somebody can dig that up, if somebody can dig that up and put it in the Jumbotron, I would really appreciate it.
Okay, real quick, Stilettos, real quick. Let me get to another speaker, and then I'll come back to you. I see we got somebody requesting to come up here, and I'll go ahead and I'll get back to you on that as well too.
Okay, thanks.
Sir Major, you were up here. I don't see you. Are you still up here? I don't see him. I guess until he comes back, because he was up here a second ago, he requested. But go ahead, Stilettos.
And what I'm saying to you is, I never denied the fact that in response to protect my team, I did say that Gabe created the budget, and I sent the original email to Morgan because she already knew about it. And she told me that Ms. Rose told her. So why would I not protect my team? We didn't create the budget. This is a fictitious budget, fake budget, dummy budget that Gabe created in lieu of or in whatever of an RFP that's coming down the line. But that's not what I called them for. I called them to work on a community advocacy, a community advisory position. That's why we were talking to the person that I'm talking to. We wouldn't be talking to her about an RFP. This is the part that I don't understand. Okay, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet, Mr. Arthur. Mr. Arthur, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet, Mr. Arthur. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. What I'm saying is, the person who we were talking to is for the community advisor position. It had nothing to do with the RFP. You know this because we were on the phone, we had meetings with her. Two different things. Did she ever ask you for a budget? Did she ever talk to you about money while we were on those two phones?
But she didn't have to.
My point is, if she never discussed money with you, and she never discussed the RFP, no, I'm not done yet, Mr. Arthur. If she never discussed the money with you or the RFP, why would you assume?
Hey, Arthur, let her finish talking. Arthur, everybody on here, let her finish talking, Arthur. Then you can go ahead and rebuttal. Go ahead, Stilettos.
They were on two meetings with this woman, July 16th and July 21st, and her assistants. My question is, what the hell did they think we were talking about with her? She never mentioned an RFP. She never mentioned money. And because she didn't, they were trying to bully me into asking her for this $1.3 million. I'm not saying that they wanted me to present her that budget, but they wanted that number. They want to know, what is her money? What is she spending? What is she paying us? She wasn't the person. That's what I kept trying to tell them. I'm not comfortable with saying this to her. She's not the person to submit this $1.3 million budget to. We're talking about apples and oranges. We're talking about community educators. You all put the cart before the horse. You all clearly put the cart before the horse. And if you all are so experts, how come you never asked her how much money she was willing to pay? You talked to her twice. How come you never brought that up? How come you never talked to her about an RFP? Because you know you're lying. Because you're lying.
Okay,
you're lying because you told me that you want to go behind my back and talk to my mayor and tell her to boost up the budget. And you're lying because Gabe announced to us that he contacted my contact behind the scene. Who does that? Why would you go behind my back? Wait a minute, Mr. Arthur. I'm not done.
Okay, let her finish, Arthur, and then you can go. Nobody comes off their mic right now. Okay. Go ahead and finish. Stiletto, I'm going to give you a minute to go ahead and finish, and then Arthur rebuttal.
Okay, what I'm saying is these experts that are so founded in this field that know what they're doing, they sat on a call with this lady and her assistant twice. Why did they never ask her about the RFP? Why did they never ask her about money? Because she never talked about it. That's not what that was for. That was for a community advisor, educating the community. The RFP had nothing to do with it. And as Gabe said, and thank you for telling the truth, Gabe, you all were putting a cart before the horse, preparing for a potential RFP that came down the line. But you overshot yourself and you overstated yourself, and that's why that budget is fictitious. It didn't pertain to what you were on those calls for.
All right, Arthur, go ahead and you can respond to that.
All right, now, loudness does not equal truth, first of all, Antonia. And usually when you're in discussions with city officials like that, they usually don't bring up money right away. What they usually do is they outline what is needed to be done. But since Gabe and I already knew the nature of the conversation, yes, eventually we knew the money was going to come up, and it did, didn't it? So being the professionals that we are, yes, we're going to come up with an estimated budget to cover what the city wants to be done. And virtue signaling, when it comes to dealing with cities and states, is not appropriate. You don't work for cities and states. You know, I'm not gonna work for the city of Boston for $5 an hour. Not gonna do that. They want a project to be done that is politically beneficial to both the mayor and the state of Massachusetts. And just because it's a reparations project, you think that everybody on the project is supposed to spend their time, spend their expertise, and then live hand to mouth. No, it doesn't work that way. Like I said before, whenever you do work for your volunteer organization for solidarity, or even Chicago, you don't charge for that. That's your volunteer time. You're on a commission. You're not supposed to be paid on a commission, but you use it per diem so that your expenses are covered. And if you're doing consulting, research, and educational work for a city or state, that is a regular consulting situation. You are supposed to get paid at the same rate that any other consulting situation will get paid if they are hired by the state to do that kind of work. Period.
Okay. And so, Mr. Arthur, if that's how you feel, that's fine. When you said that you would not do this job for less than $800,000, and seeing that the budget was $500,000 in the beginning, and now you now said you see it now, that's fine, and that's why we disqualified you. You said that you wouldn't do it for less than $800,000, so we didn't deal with you. So what's the problem? I don't understand what the problem is. I was not going to. Okay, but that's fine. But that's fine. But what I'm saying. So what is the problem?
Hey, we got too many people talking over each other. One stilettos. Let Arthur finish, then you go ahead and talk. We got too many people talking over each other.
All right. So, and I'm glad you didn't, because I wouldn't be. Because this is what the problem is. States and cities are always going to lowball. Always. I know that from dealing with them on a regular basis, especially when I was dealing with the union. Okay. So one of the reasons why you come up with a budget is not to give to the city or the state, but to estimate what everything is going to cost. Because this is what the problem is. If the state assigns you a particular task, and then you let them tell you what it's going to cost, and you sign that contract, if there's an overrun as far as your costs, as far as getting the task itself done, you are responsible for that. And if you don't cover it, your ass is going to court. So a budget is a working document so that you can figure out what the right money is before they offer it to you. So when they offer it to you, one of three things you should be doing: accepting it because it's the right amount, or rejecting it because it's not the right amount, or three, if they're open to negotiation, you negotiate. And that's how it's supposed to go. Period. Whenever you're working for a city or a state.
Okay, real quick. I see we got another speaker up here, so let me go ahead and bring this speaker up here real quick. I see you coming back up here too, Naheem. So I want to go ahead and get a Jonathan. Jonathan, go ahead and unmute your mic. Hey, you there, Jonathan?
hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so what Sister Anthony, what she was saying, Mr. Letter was everything she was saying was correct, was facts. And I'm just gonna say this: the whole issue was that this budget or whatever, it got leaked out. It got leaked out. It was only amongst the group. You know what I'm saying? That knew about this and or whatever was going on. And like she said, we was texting each other, laughing about the whole situation. Thinking like the whole thing was ridiculous. So and as far as calling them grifters, no, I never called them grifters, but I did say they were greedy, and they were being greedy just by the whole situation, the whole layout, the way they moved, to get into everything, the way they moved about the whole situation. I wasn't happy about it. You heard? And after the second meeting, I did put out a text that I wanted to speak to Gabriel and Arthur because I wasn't happy about what was going on. I just couldn't speak because I was at work during the meeting. But I did want to have a conversation. So I just want to just say, I came up here to say what Mr. Letos is saying, Sister Anthony is saying is correct. It's facts. And I'll leave it at that.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to start removing a couple of speakers as we start going on to, in case anybody wants to come up and speak as well too.
Can you put me on the stack too whenever?
Yeah, please bring up Cynthia.
Who is Cynthia?
Cam. CAMM. Cam.
Is she in the space?
She's in the space. Right now. And she's down.
Oh, I see her.
What? Have a request to come up and speak. Have a request to come up and speak.
Okay.
I sent her a mic. It's all good if she want to come up.
All right. Go ahead, Marlon. Actually, Naheem. Go ahead, Naheem and Marlon. We'll get back to you.
Peace. Yeah, my bad. I had an important phone call come through that I absolutely had to take. So, because I missed, obviously, I probably missed about a good 20, 25 minutes. The last thing I heard that I wanted to speak on was about the line item in the fictitious budget, right? And I'm going to stick with what my sister Antonia called the fictitious budget. That's exactly what it was. Naheem wasn't slated to get no $125,000. That's first and foremost. I remember that day clearly because I was on the Zoom call. And we, the United Sons and Daughters of Freedom / Be the Power, we came in to this with an understanding that we was just helping our people the way we've been helping our people. For us, this was never, ever about money. I just want to be 1,000% clear on that. Because when everybody has reached out to us across this country, my team and I have always stepped up. And the other reparationists that have done work in this space, they will vouch, even if they ain't fucking with us right now. Little infighting stuff, infighting things happen. And so far as what I've heard Sister Antonia say, is 1,000% right and exact. I don't care what nobody else say, because I was there. I was there. So whatever else anybody is saying that to counter what she is saying, when we have the number one, the proof, she put some of them in the comment section. And number two, I was on the Zoom calls. I was there. And I don't know if Brother Jonathan touched on the whole thing with Gabe and Cynthia and Arthur and myself, because I wasn't going to bring it up unless it got to that point. And why I'm at the point where I'm at with these particular people. Because people try to make it just seem like it was Gabe. Oh, we told you, don't trust the white guy. No, it was more than Gabe. It was more than Gabe. It was the black people too. So I just wanted to get up here and just again vouch for Sister Antonia, Brother Jonathan, that everything they said was right and exact, point blank period. Point blank period. I was there. Can't nobody tell me otherwise.
All right, thank you. Let me go ahead. Cam, did you want to say something? Because I know that you came up here to speak. Did you want to add something to the conversation?
Yeah, I'll be brief. And thank you for your time, Newstoter. And I just want to speak to a couple of things. I sent your co-host, WPI, our anti-Black, some screenshots, and I'll put them in the purple chat later on. But I just wanted to just give like a rundown and just like dispel a couple of things.
Hey, Sister Cynthia, I was going to say, I just hit you with a message and said the same thing. It's best for you to put it in the purple chat. And since you're a speaker up here, you can put it in the Jumbotron yourself. But if you need help or if you want me to do it, still I can do it. But you can do it.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I'm not really sure exactly how to work Jumbotrons because I'm not on Twitter like that.
Real quick. I got you. Here's what you do real quick. You know what the purple chat is at the bottom right-hand side, right? So just get in there, make a tweet like you're making the tweet, put all your information there, and then just let me know then, and I'll tell you what to do, all right?
Okay. All right. Well, let me just say my couple of words, and then I'm going to come back down because I have a child, so I can't stay on the space for a very long time. First, one thing I wanted to say, there was a lot of accusations that was being said on this space. I wanted to address a couple of them. Number one, so we already discussed the whole thing about receiving the layout in June. I just have a question just to raise. When they had a layout with the budget that actually had all the names that were going to be placed in the budget, and everyone who was on that call has acknowledged that they did see the budget while Gabe was putting in the numbers. So again, if you all were there to see this budget created together, even though it was not presented to Boston, it is not a fictitious budget. It's not a fake budget. It's not a dummy budget. It's actually tangible. Secondly, I also wanted to say that when it comes to the actual numbers that were being read off by Arthur earlier, and Antonia saying that she's never seen that before, that is not true. And the reason being I can say that is because, as Marlon pointed out, the email that was sent to another person that she said that she sent to clear her name or clear Solidarity's name shows the budget plus all the numbers that were placed into the budget that Gabe created when everybody that was on that Zoom call was there. And the date was sent to this other person from Antonia on August 17th, 2023. Yes, she acknowledged that she sent the budget, but what she said is that she's never seen this before. If she's never seen it before, how can she send it to somebody else? Thirdly, I wanted to say that there was also accusations that, and this is where the circular talking comes into place, that Arthur told her that I wanted in. He told me about the project. I asked him, can I help? And he said, let me talk to Antonia, and that's how I got involved. I done administrative things, graphics, videos, the whole nine, created decks, and all that. And other people who are on this space can acknowledge that. That's the reason why I helped. When it came to helping to fix the deck, when it even came to creating the logo, I did not get money for that, nor did I ask Antonia for money. She will acknowledge, thank you I appreciate you very much. I have an email that actually shows that. She never said that she didn't do that, but I just wanted to put that out there. And then I just, when it comes to all of these people saying, what people are saying is 100% facts, there are holes. There are big holes in the stories that are coming from Antonia themselves. And another thing I wanted to address, because on an email before, when she said she disqualified us or whatever, she said that it was us specifically from Chicago, either Gabe or Arthur, she never said me, or Gabe or Arthur, that actually sent out this budget and was talking to other people, running our mouths about the project in Boston. She said this all the way up to the point that we actually had the Zoom call on Monday. And then she then said, double backed on this particular space and said it was sent by Miss Rose on Anna Evanston. Another thing, she says that she did not hang up on Miss Rose. Yes, she did. She asked one leading question, is acknowledging that Miss Rose apologized to her about leaking the information to other people who leaked it to somebody else who ended up calling back to her. And the thing about that is that way that this stuff is being presented is not true. It is not entirely true. I as Arlen said, and because my name has come up on other spaces before, we're not grifters. We did not come here to try to just shake down Antonia and her team for money. But if you are doing work for a city, as Arthur said, you should get paid. You should get paid for your time. You get paid for your capabilities and your skill set. And if you're doing 18 months of work, taking time out to create something that Antonia said that these people don't know what they're doing, then we should be compensated for our time. We're not trying to get the money from Antonia. If Antonia just said, hey, I just want to put together something that we want to present to the city of Boston, can you help me? Okay. And we would have did that, no questions asked. But if you said specifically that there is going to be a request for a proposal from the city of Boston, and according to doing this particular bill that Arthur helped her put together and present, and it got passed, then why would you not expect to actually come up with a budget that makes sense to actually put to do your time? And that's all I have to say about that. Thank you for letting me speak, and you all have a good evening.
All right. Thank you.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, Marlon. Go ahead.
All right, this is Marlon, and honestly, I'm really gun shy about doing this in public. I prefer not, but it is what it is. So, but if you listen to, anybody can go back and listen to what Antonia said. Just go listen to the space. You said that why would I call somebody for help? I know how to do this. I know what I'm doing. And then subsequent to that, a few minutes later, you said, I wrote it down. You said, I asked for help. See, what Antonia does, she puts a bunch of words in a small space and starts to filibuster and throw deflections. Okay? But just listen to what she's saying. She said, she initially said, why would I need to call somebody? I don't need any help. Then she said a few minutes later, I asked for help. I wrote it down. I asked for help with the proposal because I didn't know how to do it. That's exactly what she said. On June, okay, on June 20, June 24th, she said, responding to Gabe about the proposal that he sent. This is exactly what we needed. I'm truly impressed. Let's see what the others have to say. Thank you so much. I knew I could count on you to save me in this pinch. LOL. If you knew you could count on him to save you in this pinch, that's an implication that you asked him to help you out of the pinch. Furthermore, even if you didn't, you just thanked him for it. On June 26th, 2 days later, this was in response to the document is titled Solidarity Team Budget Worksheet. You says the layout is excellent. Now, obviously, the layout is just the categories, which is fine. But it's the categories of the budget. You said the layout is excellent. Exactly the way I expected it to be. Thank you so much. On the email I read, you said that you sent this to, you said you're absolutely right. There are no names on the spreadsheet. However, the name/titles were a part of the proposal presented to my contact on June 7/21/2023. You said you sent it. You also said that, and Naeem confirmed as well, and Jonathan, I believe he just confirmed, that y'all were on a Zoom where Gabe was putting the numbers into the template you thanked him for, and he or Arthur asked Naeem if he was okay with a certain whatever the number was. Naeem said, "Yeah, I'm cool with that." Y'all said that's what happened. Therefore, the budget isn't fictitious. and you also, I've heard you say in a space that nobody acknowledged or approved of the budget. You and Naeem just confirmed that they asked him if he was okay with a particular number, whatever the number was, and he said yes. So to then subsequent to that say nobody acknowledged it or approved it and it was subsequent is just not true. Lastly, when I mentioned, and I didn't mention Miss Rose's name, I wasn't going to mention her name because I didn't know if she wanted to be her name involved, so I didn't mention her name. I said the person we were talking, the people who knew. The people who have been on the calls knew. So I didn't mention her name. You mentioned her name. You rebutted me mentioning her name and saying that she didn't receive the document from Chicago. When you rebutted, you said, yes, Ms. Rose sent the document, she leaked it to Morgan. What you did not address is where she got it from. You did not address that. And when we were all on the call and you had her on the call, you did not ask her that, which is why I asked you on the call. I said, call Ms. Rose then, because we need to know where the leak came from. You got her on the call and you didn't ask her where she got it from. The testimony I've gotten from Gabe, Cynthia, and Arthur was that she's confirmed that she did not get it from them. If she did not get it from them, who else did she get it from? I'm just suggesting she got it from you. You didn't ask her that. And when you rebutted my response, you didn't deal with that part. You threw another deflection. And lastly, and I'll say this lastly, Jonathan, if you didn't say they were grifters, my apologies. But my point is, a grifter is somebody who is conning people out of money and stealing money from people. Look the word up. Look up fictitious. Look up grifter. A grifter is a very specific thing. It's not a loose word that means whatever you want. It means something very peculiar, very, very specific. It's a con artist. It's a thief. It's somebody who makes a living swindling people. And if you don't have evidence that somebody is conning people or making a living conning people, to call them grifters is wrong. It's wrong. It's uncalled for. It's unnecessary. And again, we can't come to a conclusion here because whenever we deal with actual words or the definition of words, the goalpost gets moved. Fictitious and grifter mean something. And to suggest those things when you can have a feeling, you can feel a particular kind of way, that's your prerogative. But I would suggest holding feelings to your chest. But when you make an accusation of a person, if you call somebody a punk or a bitch or an asshole, whatever. But I'm talking about very material accusations, i.e. fictitious, something that's fake. You're presenting something fake. Or i.e. you're a grifter. Those mean something. And if you don't have evidence, sound evidence that somebody is doing those things, to suggest they are, it's just not true.
All right. Thank you, Marlon. Stilettos, I'm gonna let you go. Stilettos. Yeah, I'm gonna let you go, and then I'm gonna let Naheem go. DJ. Hey, DJ, hold on real quick, y'all. I'm gonna let you go, Stilettos, and I'm gonna let Naheem. DJ, check your inbox and go ahead and hold it down for 1 second. Go ahead, Stilettos.
Go ahead, handle the business, bro. Go ahead, Mr. Stilettos. And after that, you, Naeem. Unmute your mic, Mr. Stiletto.
Hi, thank you so much. They keep repeating the same thing over and over and over and over again. I never leaked the document before the conversation came to me. I clearly said that Morgan called me and asked me, what's up with this $1.3 million budget? Which means that she had gotten this information from somebody else. And when I asked her where she got it from, she said Miss Rose. A couple days later, Miss Rose sent me a text message and said, I apologize for leaking the information to Morgan. I was frustrated. I was venting because of all the lack of integrity and the bullshit that was going on. It's not my job to play Inspector Caluso to find out who leaked it to her or whatever. When she called, when I got her on the phone, I said, Miss Rose, I need you to tell them that you called me and apologized for leaking the information. That was my task at that time. They moved the goalposts. And after she said, Yes, she did apologize. She did leak the information to Morgan. Then she didn't want to talk anymore. She told them, I don't want to deal with this anymore. She hung the phone up. Then they're accusing me of not getting where she got it from. That's not my problem. That's not my job. And so let me correct something else. When I said that I needed help, I needed help, you know what I'm saying, to do a full-blown community advisory, community education thing. I thought it was admirable to add Mr. Arthur in. Because, yes, he is instrumental in doing the proposal. What I'm saying to you is he's not that important to the point where I was paying him $125,000 to talk to him over the phone. The bottom line is when you're community engagers and community advisors, you're on the ground. He couldn't be here all the time. So why would I pay you $125 if you're not actually doing the work on the ground? The most important people in this whole equation were United Sons and Daughters. They're actually the educators. They have the curriculum. Mr. Arthur, Gabe, Cynthia, Marlon weren't going to give me a tangible item. I needed a product. A product is an educational curriculum. What I asked them for was the buy-in and commitment to help put this together to educate the community. Again,
Marlon was not involved. You said Marlon.
Marlon was involved because they asked me to bring him on. Oh, wait. Marlon, I have the email where Gabe asked me to bring you on. I put it in the purple stop. And Mr. Arthur asked me to bring Cynthia in. You may not have been on the calls, and that's why I don't know why you're talking so much, because you don't know what you're talking about. You weren't there. You're only going by what they told you.
I wasn't on the call, meaning I wasn't involved.
Well, we have the email where Gabe asked me to include you. And so one of those line items was supposed to be for you. And when
Hey, Marlon, let her finish talking, and then let Naheem, and we'll get back to you. But let her finish talking. Go ahead.
I said, when they asked me to bring you on and Cynthia on, I said, we're not adding anybody on right now. But anyways, Mr. Arthur gave the link to Cynthia, and she was very instrumental. And I thank her for doing the slide deck with Gabe. As far as our logo, she did change our logo. If you want to get paid, I'll send you a cash app right now, because you keep talking about money. Anthony is not broke. Far from it. So if you want me to pay you for the little bit of work you did and work with Gabe and change the logo, honey, I can send you money right now.
I never asked you for money, Anthony. I'm not asking you now, so I'm just letting you know. Thank you.
But you keep talking about it, and this is not the first time you said it.
I only brought it up because you keep on saying that we were asking for something else, and that's not true.
No, I did not. Mr. Arthur just said Mr. Arthur said if you're working with reparations groups, there's no charge. Am I correct? So if you volunteered,
that's why I did not charge you. Okay. That's why I didn't ask you for any money. That's it.
Okay, Cam, you got to go ahead and let her finish. Let her finish. Nobody come off your mic. I've already said that before. Go ahead, Stilettos, and finish, and then we're gonna get Naheem. Miss Rose Everston, that is. I see you say you're trying to come up. I don't see the request, but I'll find you and try to bring you up. Go ahead, Stilettos.
So what I'm saying is,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit the mute button. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So Cam or Cynthia has brought it up a couple of times that she didn't get paid. We don't have no problem paying you. We pay everybody that does work for us. We pay speakers. We pay Mr. Arthur to speak for us during Black History Month. We pay people so that they don't talk shit or don't have anything to say like you're just saying. So stop bringing it up. If you want me to send your cash app, I can do that right now. Text me your cash app or either send to me by email. I don't have a problem paying you. But the bottom line is you all keep talking about redundant stuff over and over and over again. I've already admitted that I gave the document from the email. I just shot it right straight through to Morgan because they were at me about the fact that they already knew that there was a $1.3 million budget that they thought we already got paid for. And I said, no, we did not get paid for anything. This is a fictitious budget that Gabe created. And if you don't like fictitious, I don't know what to tell you. I can say whatever I want to say. You can't change how I talk, and you can't tell what I think. So stop making that the issue. And that's all I have to say right now. Let Naheem speak.
Naheem, go ahead. Hey, wait, real quick. Hey, DJ, do you see Everston reparation?
I don't see that here unless she changed the icon, profile icon.
Because we don't have anybody in the we don't have anybody that says anybody requesting to speak at this moment.
At this moment, tell if you in here, sister.
Matter of fact,
I'll handle it.
Matter of fact. So we ain't got a bunch of people up here crying and talking about they been passed over. Go ahead and screenshot it and tweet it out that you don't see anybody up in the actual thing trying to request to come up. Because then you have other people sitting up here later on talking about they was requesting to come up as well too. Go ahead, Naheem.
Yeah, peace. Everybody, I don't think everybody really needs to come up on this one because, I mean, if you don't have any information about what happened on the inside, then really what you coming up to the stage for. But I get your point, is your space. All right, so Mr. Just the Facts. Mr. Just the motherfucking facts. So first and foremost, now I ain't didn't agree to anything. That's first and foremost. The question was asked while the fictitious budget was, because that's exactly what it was, a fictitious budget. It was never accepted. It was never even submitted to the city of Boston. It was just a proposed budget based on what Gabe thought was going to happen or how much he thought the city was going to give based on his experience, and he set that budget. So that's first and foremost. My exact words when he asked, "Hey, Naheem, wouldn't you like $90,000?" I remember just hunching my shoulders and looking at the phone and saying, and my exact words was, "Who wouldn't want a hypothetical $90,000? I'll talk to the bros about it." And then I went right back to talking about the things that we felt was important and the things that we felt was real. Now, let me pause so that those people that was on that Zoom call can say that anything that I just said was false. Let me pause for a moment. Somebody say what I just said is wrong. Oh, okay. So now, this whole thing, let's get to the root of this. Let's get to what the root of this whole thing is about, right? So I went to California, and the controversy with Cam Howard, right? This became an issue because certain people from California, one person in particular, who conspired with some of the people designating the fake Tuck Dyke Morgan, etc., Gerard, Friday Joe, like, they took this opportunity. All of this stuff was happening at the same time, right? People seeing me talk to Cam Howard and me being on that stage triggered people in some kind of way. So hearing me talk nice, because, we wanted to get him in the Twitter space. We got him in the Twitter space. It is what it is. That shit triggered people. And it's cool. We had that whole fracas on the inside. And that shit was over with and dead. But you had other people, like the fake Tough Dyke chick, and Gerard bitch ass, and Friday Jones, and all of these other people conspiring. So when Morgan got her hands on a piece of the fictitious budget that Gabe drafted up, she and the rest of them people that I named, they took it upon themselves. They took it upon themselves to create this narrative. And then they started putting out narrative after narrative after narrative. So really, this whole shit is about DTP and Naheem and Ami especially, because we are part of this project. You had people calling Sister Antonia talk about get them off the project. The premier teachers in this Friedman space, on this Friedman topic, get them off the whatever it's called, the RFP, whatever the project. Get them off. And when I say a lot, I want anybody to come off their mic. So if somebody wants to jump in and say, "Oh, Ryan, please don't," just let them go. Just let them go, because I'm Mr. Just the Facts, and I don't have no reason to lie about shit, about nothing. So that's exactly what this whole thing is about, and it boiled over to this dude Gabe putting out that fucking tweet about not being involved in Boston, which alerted people in Boston, which have people in Boston hitting Sister Antonia up, because now from our vantage point, it looks like he's trying to sabotage the shit because he's not on it no more. And that's why I don't fuck with you. No, that's one of the reasons why.
When Naheem lands, you guys mind if I?
Yeah, we want you to. I just want somebody to refute what I'm saying. So all of this shit happened at the same time, and that's why we're here right now. This space should never even be happening. Why is this space happening? This fucking space to have this discussion by Gabe is an attempt to sabotage in my book. But Shit, I'm just here for it. Like, fuck it, it is what it is. People want to do bullshit when we supposed to be doing reparations and politics. And you got to keep getting dragged into bullshit because Antonia didn't lie. Antonia didn't lie. So, somebody lying. That's all I got.
All right.
You all right? You all right with me saying a couple things?
Who's speaking? I can't see who's speaking.
All right, this is Gabriel. Okay?
Oh yeah, Gabe. Yeah. Matter of fact, Gabe, you haven't really said that much, and it's about you. So go ahead and speak.
Yeah, I really haven't. And you know, one thing I'm going to say right away, as we all listen to this conversation and hear, all these feelings and whatnot, this should have been in a room. This should have been a conversation in a room, not in a Twitter space, among us, a Zoom room or some other kind of place, and all this should have been hashed out.
All right, now I'm going to interrupt you, right? Because I offered that. I offered an interruption. So here's my interruption. We was on a Zoom call this past, I don't know, I think that was Monday. We was trying to get Cynthia Obeyed, or Cynthia sent the message back that they was eating. It was Sunday morning, I don't know. Anthony probably can tell you better than me, but we was on the Zoom call. You were sent the link. You were sent that link to be on that Zoom call, and we couldn't handle this shit on the Zoom.
Yeah.
So,
it was 5 minutes before the Zoom call was going to happen, and it was the day after Antonia got on with Paige. And look, let's not do that. Let's just take a step. Let me say this, Naeem. I'm not trying to, if you pay attention to what I'm talking about, what I have tried to avoid, so-and-so did this, so-and-so did that, except for the real essential facts here. I really tried to talk about what I did and why I did it and explain it. To me, this is what happened from my vantage point is that Antonia was talking about some stuff, right? And I heard about it. You did a space, and I heard about it. I put that tweet out in response to that stuff, and then everything blew up. That's how I perceive this.
Excuse me, can I make a statement? When I went into that Twitter space, I protected you.
Wait a minute. Everybody wants to talk over the other person. Let the person that's speaking talk, and then you can go ahead and talk. Nobody want to be interrupted, but then they keep interrupting other people. Go ahead and finish what you got to say.
Thank you. And I
My bad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I really want to try to keep this real simple. My point is, first of all, Naeem, I'm just trying to say, in general, these sorts of things should be handled behind closed doors. And it is my opinion that there were conversations happening since there was some leak, and no one knows where that leak came from, and so forth, forward, that didn't include everybody. And I hear what you're saying, that when it became clear that I was going to have a public conversation about this, there was some interest in getting all of the parties who had been talked to kind of individually together. I hear that. And this is what I want to say now. I do think that this information got out, and it did come from Boston. That's my opinion. I think it's possible it happened accidentally, because I don't see the advantage to anybody of putting this out. Bottom line, a budget that was a ballpark of what we thought the city of Boston, at the very least, should spend on outreach and education for reparation, got out. And before anyone talked to me, for sure, people were talking about how this was representative of me being greedy, Arthur being greedy, stuff like that. I disagree with that, and I think we've gotten into that. Arthur, I think, does a good job of explaining why you do charge municipalities serious money. I don't understand why you wouldn't when this all cools off. I think we should have that conversation again. However, I want to say this. Tonight's the last night I'm talking about this in public. I am so sad that we're at this point that, when we get off this space, me, you, and Antonia, we're going our separate ways. I will never work with Antonia on anything, and I think she feels the same way about me. And And I'm just, real sad that you and I are in the place we're at now, but it is what it is. And so we're all grown folks, and things happened, and people want to blame each other for this stuff, and it gets to social media, and you get all kinds of crazy stuff to the point where I had to have a whole separate space yesterday over some nonsense that should have been dead and buried months ago, but it metastasized and got twisted into some new thing where I'm supposedly grifting off the United Sons and Daughters. And it's that same $60,000 figure that Yvette came up with in the beginning of the year for other reasons. It just gets out of control. I don't know how we ended up here. I don't know who leaked what documents to who. I don't know why people felt like they had to be defensive and start accusing people of stuff in reaction to that, as opposed to saying, yeah, we did some back of the envelope budgeting. What about it? That's the thing you do when you're dealing with cities. You should have ended with that, but that's not how other people took it. But I really just want to say to everybody, let's unite. Whatever else we need to say, we need to say. And apparently we're going to do it on the stage. But like you said, Naeem, it is what it is. But let's just go about our business, avoid each other if that's where we've ended up, not deal with each other, but don't talk crap about each other. To each other, and that's a sad story, but that happens. Grown people, are friends, and then they don't talk to each other again for the rest of their lives. That happens in the world. I hate that it's happened here, but what I hate more is this is freedmen eating their own and allies eating their own. We're in a space now where we're at each other when there's all sorts of other people who, they love it. They're loving it. So I just hope this can be the end of it.
Marlon was asked, talk the game, don't let him do this space. And I came in and said, yeah, because it's not going to go the way he think it's going to go. He said, you should do the space. You're doing the space. And I just Newstoter, anybody that got the receipts that Gabe stole money from the United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen, because that's what they've been saying for the past 2 weeks. Lion ass, who's in the J, who's in the audience, bring your ass up here because you put the tweet out and show the receipts. Just show the receipts. That's all I got.
It's a lie. It's a lie. And this is all, this is all distorted. And Naeem, honestly, the point of this wasn't, I know it looks to you all like somehow I decided to create mess on Twitter. From my point of view, Antonia was talking to people on the phone about me. You had a whole space about me. When I knew that she had continued to get into spaces to talk about this, when I was real specific, you saw that email, I said, Keith, do not talk about me in this Boston project any longer. That was my, I won't say ask, because I did kind of demand it in that email, but that was the thing for me. You cannot talk about me in Boston like this because it's a lie, and I'm going to have a reaction to that. If people can't respect that, I'm going to escalate. Not escalate like I'm threatening anything, but escalate like I'm going to have a public conversation. What I'm saying is now it's just...
Whoever's coming off your mic, go ahead and mute your mic.
Hey, just real quick, keep it muted for 1 second, not to interrupt the conversation. Reggie, if you want to speak, raise your hand. Everybody else, keep your hand up until we get to you. If you want to rebuttal what someone is saying, just write it down if you can't remember, or try to jog your biggie memory and try to remember what it was that person who said. It's a lot of stuff being said, so you might want to write it down, grab your pen, your paper, your notepad, and jot down. But stay on your microphone, please, y'all. I understand everybody want to talk, but we all can't talk over each other. This is very important information that we need to get to the people. But go ahead, Gabe. Or whoever was talking. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you're not a Nick, though. You should be speaking. Yeah, you know why. You're not a Nick.
Okay. I know who that was right there. So let's go. Get up out of here. So with that being said, next person come off their mic, you getting sent to the shadow realm. You can stay in the chat, but you ain't gonna be able to come up here on this microphone. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to be respectful and have some decorum amongst our people, stay in your microphone. Real talk. Show some respect to the host and the platform Newstoter, the most black curated news on the web. So let's go. Go ahead.
Yeah, who was talking? Gabe?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Well, if you want to give yourself 30 seconds, Gabe, just to say whatever it was.
And then we'll get to some of the we'll get to some of the new hands in here too. I want to get to some of the new hands.
Yeah, okay, very quickly. I was just saying that I think we're at a point now where everyone should say whatever they need to say today in front of everybody else. People are going to come to their own conclusions, and we should just leave it alone. And this is probably less for me, Naeem, Marlon. I don't know where Anthony said that, but Arthur, I think we're all done with it. We want to move on. That's my guess. I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth. I'm just saying everyone should say what they need to say. People are going to reach their own conclusions, and I'm just going to ask people, leave it alone. Let's not make this the thing we're talking about in election season, because to some extent, that's what's going on, right? Like we have, there's a legitimate problem here. We need to resolve it, but it's getting amplified and turned into something else. And I don't think that's a mistake. So that's it. I'm done.
All right. Let me get to Lioness Crown. Lioness Crown. Go ahead, unmute your mic.
Thank you so much for bringing me up, brother. Newstoter, peace to the room. I came up because my name was called, and Naheem, I'm glad you corrected yourself the second time you said that. The first thing I'll say is my male representative wants to have a conversation with you. We don't appreciate you calling out my name, so you can call me Jade. Or
tell him, come holler at me.
1 second. Okay,
come holler at me.
He'll holler at you. We can connect off the app. We'll
Great. We can do that. Let's do that.
Real quick, Naheem, let her go ahead and finish what she's got to say.
Thank you, because the disrespect is uncalled for. Now, what I'm going to say.
Hey, are you there?
I'll mute your mic, Linus. It was a double mute.
Thank you, no problem. I was saying that I came up because I don't know if Naheem got the wrong information. But we can also hash this out offline, but I do want to come up and clear my name. You will not find in any space or in any of the threads where I mentioned your name or your organization until you mentioned me last night. Now, I raised a simple question. I came back on the app and I said, what is this I'm hearing about Gabe grifting off the reparations movement? No one mentioned your name. No one mentioned your organization. So you are, in fact, sir, lying, or you were given misinformation, or you were being misled. So I came up here to say that. Now, what I will stand on, as I stood on at the beginning of the year, is the issue. Things happen within organizations, and I get it, right? Like, there's a network of freedmen and things like that, and it's a whole bunch of people fighting for our reparations, our lineage-based reparations. I'm going to continue to stand on the fact that the issue for me and for many others in this space is that the white man, Gabriel Piemonte, right, has been inserted into the reparations movement. He showed up not as an ally, in my opinion. He showed up very disrespectfully, loud and wrong, and just out of order as a white person in a lineage-based reparations black movement. And so I'm going to continue to stand on that. And this is the reason why we don't have these people in our movements, and we practice self-determination. And so we choose to ally with or use the resources with other people who are not of our lineage, then we set the terms for. And so at this point, I'm going to land my plane and say that, yeah, this is what happens when you allow white folks to come up in black spaces, give them an inch and then take a mile. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Peace and black power to y'all.
All right. Thank you.
No receipts.
Well, there was no receipts because I never said that there was anything. I asked for receipts, actually, so you don't have receipts on what you're talking about, but you accused me of naming your organization and all of that. I just debunked.
I got receipts on everything.
Okay, so I did not mention your organization. I did not say that there were receipts of this. I said, what are these allegations that's going on about this white man grifting? You inserted yourself into the conversation. You mentioned me last night, and you tried to censor yourself, as you always do. But again, you can holler at me and my male representative off the app. Have a good night. Peace out.
Let's get it. I'm here.
All right. Thank you, Lioness. Let me go ahead and get to I see we got a choke up here. Who is it? Reggie. Reggie was next. Reggie, go ahead, and then we'll get the choke.
You said you were gonna let me come up, but go ahead.
Who said? I'm sorry. Who was talking?
That's Marlon right there. Marlon.
Well, Marlon, let me get to the people that hadn't had a chance to speak yet.
What do you think?
Go ahead, Reggie.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, this is very interesting. I'm kind of looking at it like, I'd like to visit this land of make-believe that people are creating. whatever drugs they're taking. I would really like some. And I say that to say that nothing that anyone is talking about in the present moment has any implications or bearing on what's going to happen in Boston. Like nothing that anybody is talking about or imagining or positioning themselves for is going anywhere. Not on the city level, not on the state level. All this is make believe and a lot of high school shit. The only thing that is happening at the present moment in regards to the reparations discussion as it pertains to the city of Boston is that there is a request for proposals. What the city is requesting are research partners that will study the impact of chattel slavery and its vestiges from 1620 until the present day. They have divided the time periods into 6 units, what they're calling 1620 to 1690, where you talk about the slave trade. 1690 to 1750, same thing. 1750 to 1800, 1800 to 1860. You get to 1860 to 1940. You talk about the economic, social, and political legacies of the slave trade and the transatlantic slave economies, 1860 to 1940. 1940 to the present is the same thing. Now, for those different units of study, there is a total amount allocated of $500,000. Now, for those who want to, find your payday or whatever, God bless you. Here's what you got to do. You got to go to the City of Boston's website. You have to put yourself together as a vendor, and you have to they're requesting a proposal, so you have to submit the proposal. Now, when you submit your proposal you can submit for 1 unit of study, or you can submit for multiple units of study. But what you have to do is demonstrate that you know what the fuck you're talking about, and that you have the capacity to produce a document that will uncover the histories of those time periods I just mentioned. This idea that there is some consulting opportunity or community engagement piece for which people will be paid is ludicrous. There is no line item budget. There is no sort of discussion for anything that anybody is talking about in this space. I don't know where this 1.3 is coming from, to where if I worked for the city, like, it's nonsense. Like, call anybody you want in city government. None of that is happening. And there are no real conversations happening to that end. It is not in the budget. There is $500,000 for the request for proposals. That's for all the units of study. So even if we're assuming that you can just divide the 500,000 pi by 6, it's 90-something thousand at best, if my math is correct. And that's for 1 unit of study. And for that unit of study, again, you have to demonstrate that you know what you're talking about. You have to, and part of the proposal is not just, here's my team, here's my experience, here's my this, my that. I'm not calling it a grift, but I am calling it goofy, because y'all look crazy right here. Because I don't know if y'all even read this request for a proposal. It just dropped Monday, and the drafts for the same, have been in the meetings and have been publicly available, so that there's no plug, there's no connect. Like, what you see is what you get in terms of the proposal. And with that proposal, you have to submit a peer-reviewed document that demonstrates that you are an expert on the subjects that they're asking you to study. And I'm just going to be honest, I don't see anybody in this room that can demonstrate that they have the knowledge base or are able to assemble a team to deal with any of these units of study. Never mind this 1.3 nonsense. And this is my request to you. You don't have to follow this, because the things that are happening in Boston and on the state level have no regard for this nonsense that y'all are discussing. Like, if you really want to get busy, stay engaged, go to the hearings. The task force has expressed on multiple occasions that they are intentional about creating a process through which the community can engage or otherwise guide the researchers that they choose to hire. Now, if there are researchers out there that you feel that would be great for this, holler at them. Like, tell them to submit something. I know me personally, I mean, I'm gonna just reach out, maybe throw an email or DM someone like Mercer Baradaran, and say, hey, jump on this. About banking. Wendy Warren, or just suggestions. Like, there are professors here in Boston that could do it, but the idea that there's going to be this reparationist push to come in and get this RFP money is just ludicrous, and y'all really, really sound crazy. It's like, I wish I could really go into it, but it's like, y'all really sound crazy, and it's very, very comical. Like, this is like House of Cards mixed with Love and Hip Hop Boston, and this is very entertaining for me, because I know none of what y'all are talking about is going to move, but y'all have at it. But for those who are serious about engaging or serious about submitting something to the city of Boston, I think I linked it in the chat there. It has the process to where you can go through it, but just know, and you can quote me on this, nobody who has been babbling up to this point is moving anything in terms of this RFP. It's just not happening. Y'all sound crazy and y'all look dumb, but have a good night, and shout out to we have our disagreements, but shout out to Antonia for actually coming through and showing up to the hearings to speak her mind. But the rest of y'all look dumb. Have a good night.
All right, can we respond to that, Newstoter, as opposed to going to the heads?
Please respond to that. Y'all were like wild wolves, shit, with the fighting shit. You know what I'm saying?
Let me go. We'll get to y'all, because we got some new hands up, guys. Y'all been speaking, so we'll.
Yeah, but this is the Boston thing, though, bro. And I don't know what the other people talk about right now. We talking Boston, but it's just
Just hold on a second. Hey, Sister Rose, I don't know if you see my request. I'm requesting you to come up on the mic.
I've sent. She's still got an invite. I've sent her an invite and everything else, and
yeah, I sent it again too. So I don't know. You might have to restart your phone, sister, and get on the Wi-Fi. Restart your phone and get on the Wi-Fi. Now I'm talking to her in the chat right now too, though.
Yeah, I've sent her an invite, and she hadn't went ahead and came up and requested to come up and speak. But I'm gonna go ahead, Naheem, and I'm gonna let you say something real quick in response to that, and then we're gonna get the choke, we're gonna get to Chase, and then we'll get back to you guys. So go ahead real quick, Naheem.
All right, I'm gonna be quick. First
and real quick, Naheem, when you go, I'm gonna sit. We got Everson up here. She's been trying to get up here for a hot minute. So after you go, Choke, she's been trying to get up here before you. I'm gonna get to Everson, but go ahead, Naheem.
I got you. Because I want our role to be clear. Be the power of the United Sons and Daughters of Freemen are chasing no money. And we said that already. So I don't want the words from the guy, the last dude that was just speaking, to be misconstrued. We never got into this for money. And Sister Antonia, Brother Jonathan, and anybody else that's involved in that project will tell you that. That's number one. Number two, United Sons and Daughters / Be the Power, we do have a peer review article on the subject, especially dealing with, I ain't gonna get too deep, but it was co-authored with Dr. Darity, and because we are reparationists, we will, as a national reparationist organization, be making that submission. Some people came on a little late, but those of us that been in the loop, we've been in the loop for a good little minute, so we have some details that I wouldn't dare speak about on here, but I actually agreed with some of what this last dude said. This was some goofy shit. This space should have never happened, but it happened. So, and now this shit is out there, and when it's out there like that, if one side get to tell a story, then it make it seem like the other side is lying, and that brings the other side up so they can tell their side of the story. But, so I actually agree with him on that, and I also agree with the fact that none of this shit is going to move anything that's happening in Boston anyway. People still got to do what they got to do. And so far as Bitten and as far as Sister Antonia is concerned, Sister Antonia put it. I read the first RFP when it first came out. And matter of fact, this brother Reggie was just on his Zoom call with all of us and Boston just the other day when they was talking some, some other stuff. And when I got finished speaking, one of the sisters got up and, if Reggie is honest, he'll confirm this, say, well, I moved to go back to the original language that we had in the original RFP, right? So, it is what it is. We are involved to the point that we are involved. Our goal as a reparations organization is to see that reparations happens right at the local and at the federal level. We never, ever come into any situation asking about money, and just ask the other reparationists we've helped across this country for the past couple of years. Peace.
Just one quick point of clarification. I was in the meeting, and the motion that was made, nobody was trying to hear that shit, and at a certain point, nobody was trying to hear Naheem babble because they shut him down as well. But I do wish you.
That's a lie.
Okay, Reggie, because you just spoken. Like I said, I want to get Everson up here real quick. So let me go ahead and get to her, and we'll come back to that. But because we got some new hands up here that want to speak.
Yeah, because this dude is lying. He's lying.
Real quick. And Miss Rose, I see you sitting up here, love, and we've been trying to get you up here for a minute, and you putting comments in there saying that we won't let you up. And that's simply not true, because I DM'd you and I actually showed you the actual speaker request when you were trying to come up, that it had 0 speakers in there. So I don't know why you sitting up here saying that we're trying to keep you from coming up. People were starting that stuff yesterday. Hold on real quick, because we had a bunch of Negroes on this space yesterday sitting up here lying, talking about we were trying to keep them from coming up, like they was such political stalwarts that they was gonna come up here and tip over a goddamn iceberg. Nobody was trying to keep y'all from coming any goddamn where. So let's clear the air on that. A bunch of these niggas were sitting up here in this app yesterday, sitting up here, and I'm telling them we having difficulties. We can't see them. And they were sitting up here lying, we trying to keep y'all from coming up. We had anybody that want to come up here that could get up here, we let them get up here. And we've been working with you for about 20 minutes in the background trying to get you up. I sent you an invite. DJ sent you an invite. Yesterday, I sent Shut Up an invite. I sent a bunch of other people invites, letting them know that I'm trying to get them up here and everything else. So everybody, I don't know what everybody's sitting up here talking about, like it's an agenda and all this stuff that we grifting. let me straighten you on that, because I had to straighten Stephen Johnson, who's a lawyer, on that yesterday. And I told him straight up, nigga, what you saying is slander. And he had to come back. Yeah, he had to go ahead and kind of rephrase that in DJ space right here. So all you magpies sitting up here lying, and y'all are magpies. Make no mistake about that, because there's a bunch of niggas in here I do not like personally. And you can sit up here like the little girls you are and sit up here in your goddamn comment section. You can sit after this spaces go and create one of your little coochified spaces that you talk about, the recap and this and that, and who's a grifter and a gatekeeper, ain't doing shit but sitting on your ass, running your black mouth, sitting up here not doing a goddamn thing, talking about we hating. Nigga, we don't sit up here with the same bullshit spaces y'all do night in and night out, the same goddamn content night in and night out. Nigga, you talking to the largest black-owned curator in America. The fuck we need content from you niggas from? You better get your goddamn mind straight. Now, Miss Evanston, Miss Rose, sweetie, you can go ahead and talk.
Thank you for letting me up, and peace, love, and reparations to the room. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, you go, sister. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. I really want to clear my name in this whole thing. So I've been sitting up here making a timeline, and if anyone that knows me knows I don't tell lies to people, and I usually talk directly to everybody when I'm talking to you about reparations. And I consider myself a freed woman. I believe in the freedman ideology, and I follow it. But there's room for all of us, I think, in this reparations struggle. And I'm not going to be fighting with people over a name. We're all trying to get this real reparations here. On or about, I was looking through my timeline, on or about maybe August 12th to about August 27th, I had a number of conversations with Morgan Malachi out in Philadelphia. And I regarded Morgan as a friend, somebody that I could vent to and speak to openly about my concerns about what was going on with what I had only been hearing about the Chicago faction being involved with Antonia, and there was money. There was big money to be involved. I did not see this proposed budget until it was on August 30th that Antonia and I were talking by phone, and she was struggling with that because I guess they had fallen out about this budget and about this $1.3 million budget, and she was being accused of leaking this budget. I had not physically seen this budget until we spoke on August 30th, and she said, Ms. Rose, I want to be absolutely transparent, and I'm going to send you everything that I have. And she screenshotted stuff and she sent it to me. And along what she sent to me was the $1.3 million proposed budget. And that was the first time in my life that I physically saw any budget. However, I remembered that when I was speaking to Morgan Malachi earlier, and this was around I think around August 27th through August 12th, Morgan and I had a few conversations. Morgan told me that she had heard about this budget, or that she had seen it. She told me 3 times in the course of the conversation, I've seen the budget. And I wasn't even sure what she was talking about, because I did not physically see that budget until August 30th, when I talked to Antonia and she said, I want to be absolutely transparent and send you everything that I've been sending to people, or letting them know that I'm trying to speak openly and honestly about what was going on here. And so around September 10th, I guess it was Arthur and Cynthia got on my phone and demanded to see the budget. And I said, well, I only just saw it. Antonia had sent it to me in an offer to be transparent about what was going on. And I said, I do have it. And I then took the photoshopped copy of it that I had in my texts, put it into my emails, and sent it off to Arthur Ward. And I just pulled that up on my emails. I sent it to Arthur on September 10th. And I don't know where a second budget has come up, but all I ever saw was the $1.3 million proposed budget that I heard that Gabriel had made up in the meeting. Okay, I don't have any reason to lie about anything here. I want to see real reparations done to my people, but I don't want people running around trying to get bags, get their own personal bags. Okay. And I regarded people as friends, people in this reparations struggle, but I'm being thrown under the bus and I'm being accused of leaking all this. But I know where this came from. I know that Morgan has a vendetta against Naheem, and that she basically would do anything to disparage Naheem. So, and anything that he's involved with. So I think a lot of this came about because people were trying to hurt that. The budget didn't come about for that reason, but she was able to use the budget as a way to, to disparage Naheem and any project that he might be involved in. And we're all in this, in the struggle. We all know who the real players are and who are the fake players and what everybody's motivations are. We all know that. I've been in this lifetime a long time. We know who's trying to get money and who are the swift talkers and the sweet talkers and the fast talkers. And I think that's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with just out and out human greed, actually. And that is what is at the root of this. And I know Arthur and Cynthia called me, and I felt that they were intruding in my personal time with what I think is absolute mess. If you and your cohort created this budget, then that's what you created and stuff. So it did exist. I mean, I look at it. I have a screenshot of it that Antonia sent me. But that was the first time in my life that I had ever seen this $1.3 million thing, and I was shocked by it. I was shocked by it because we deal with almost the same kind of crap that goes on here in Evanston. People trying to get a personal bag for themselves and representing themselves as reparationists, but like living off the movement and stuff. And I'm very pristine about how I review the reparations movement and how it should be done. That's, I feel like I'm being thrown under the bus here. And I don't mind talking honestly. I spoke to people in all honesty, thinking that sometimes that you have people that you want to talk to and share things with. And no, it was, I think certain people's hate and ire for Naheem got the best of them. So they brought in people from NAASD to talk to Antonia along with Morgan. And that's what seemed odd to me, because many of us had lost friendships during this period or whatever. I was not in that whole thing, but I knew that Morgan lost friendship with Naheem, and I knew she was feeling very, very vindictive and angry about what Naheem represents. And I have no hard feelings against anybody, but no, I didn't see that physical budget of 1.3 until Antonia said, in the issue of being transparent, I'm going to send you this so you can see it. That was the first time I'd physically seen that budget. So I don't have any reason to lie. I'm just heartbroken that this has come to this, that we have to be out in the public doing things. And I agree with what Gabe said. This should have been settled privately among the people. But I I know that Arthur and Cynthia told me that they have their reputations to keep, and that they were afraid of being disparaged and thought of as they didn't use the word carpetbaggers, but I'm using that, okay? That they had their reputations to protect. But if you're in a cohort where someone proposes a budget of $1.3 million, and from the things that I understand that they were saying to Antonia in these meetings about why they merited being paid this amount of money. And yes, we all need to be remunerated if we're doing work in here. But we've watched Narcan and Cobra get their bags for years. And so why are people that we thought as reputable in the movement asking for something that's outrageous? And it is not. I think it was something that actually was proposed, because I don't doubt that those things were said in that meeting, that how they needed, if they were going to work on this project all the way from Chicago, they were going to consult. If they had to travel, that they had to stay in 5-star hotels, that they had to have the best wines, and all their airlines trips would be per diem, paid by the Boston people. That would make most people turn away from that. And so when Cynthia and Arthur called me about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I asked them, I said, now is there anything that I can do to help you reconcile with Boston, with Antonia? And it was like, I didn't hear any desire to reconcile or to get back together with Boston. And, sometimes, as Gabe just said a few minutes ago, sometimes relationships are broken between adults and they can never be repaired. So, I land my plane with that. I just hate that you can't speak openly to people in this movement. And that is a kind of, I don't know. I think because so much money is involved, people are trying to see where they're going to fall and see how they're going to prosper from this. And this is probably a perfect example why reparations needs to be paid by the federal U.S. government and not by individual municipalities. And basically, I'm a Darity follower, and this is a perfect example.
Hey Rose, Rose, I'm gonna let you get ready to land your plane because we got some hands up and we're gonna be closing this space out for a second. We've been going 2.5 hours, so we're gonna let everybody come up here and get a little say, and then we're gonna close this space out for the night because unfortunately it doesn't seem like much resolution still came tonight. So go ahead.
That's fine. No, thank you for letting me speak, and I was landing my plane right there.
Okay, so. Thank you. Let me go ahead and get to Chase. Go ahead and unmute your mic, Chase.
Yeah, what's up? Look, I had heard that little $275,000 in that fictitious proposal for a website. That's some bullshit. It don't cost that much to build a goddamn website. The other point that I want to make is this is what happens when you let white people come and try and handle business for black people. There's dozens of scholars that y'all could have went and got to sit on that board or sit with y'all besides Gabe Piemonte. Okay? Don't nobody have any trust in you? So I want to go ahead and yield the mic to that and just let it be known. A lot of us, we don't need you around us, bro. And it would probably be preferable if you stay out of black people's business. I yield the mic.
All right. Let me go ahead and get to Arthur. I know it's been a minute, and as people speak, I'm gonna go ahead and start dropping people down because, like I said, we're gonna be closing this out here. We've been going long enough, and normally I like to try to keep it by 2 hours, sometimes a little over 2, 3 at tops, but I think we pretty much we hitting it on here. So let me go ahead and get to Arthur. Arthur, go ahead. Once you speak, I'm gonna drop you down too. Go ahead.
Okay, well, a couple of things, Reggie, with his magisterial air, is apparently indeed an optometrist. That's another subject for another time. And Rose is right. We did call her. And that's approximately how the conversation went. But again, just like I told the whole space here, and anybody that talks to Cam can quote me on this, and he will agree with it. I told Cam a long time ago, I don't care that you make money. I want you to make some money. But I resent the fact that you are making money to destroy the reparations movement. And like I said, again, that whenever you're working within your own organization or another freedman organization, that is not a situation where you demand to be paid. The only two situations where you demand to be paid is when you're working for a commission and you are being paid a per diem for travel and for food and so forth. And the third way is when you're doing actual consulting and research and education work for a municipality. You are supposed to be paid for that. Sorry, there's no virtue signaling when it comes to that. The other thing, I don't understand how people think that sometimes you have to work for a city or state hand to mouth. That's not the situation for them. They pay everybody else that does work for them, and anybody here, if you're doing that kind of work for a state or municipality, you should be paid as well. Third thing, I want to lay to rest. Nobody ever made a demand to take Naheem off the commission. This is what actually happened. Jonathan, who was on most of the calls, when he's on the call, he's usually working, and he drives a truck of some kind.
Hey, Arthur, don't go too long because we're going to be doing short. We closing it out, so.
Okay, well, he's usually on his Bluetooth, and he only hears partial conversations. We always have to repeat ourselves. What actually happened was that Cynthia and Gabe were talking to Antonia about Naheem's activity on social media regarding Dr. Darren. And Cynthia clearly said that if Naheem keeps up this kind of activity, that she is going to remove herself from the project. That's what was actually said.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Arthur.
You might as well let me go, and then I'll drop down, bro.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so that's funny. That was funny. She removed from the project. What the hell? What do you bring to the project? Anyway, they definitely tried to get me removed for a debate, a regular debate that I was having with Dr. Dougherty about the term freedman. He got cleaned up. And the other reparationists from across the country also jumped on that thread. That thread is still there. I didn't disrespect that man or nothing. This was a ploy. I'm not going to get too deep into it because I bit my tongue on a lot of stuff tonight. I just want to say to the Reggie dude, Reggie from Cambridge, I got the minutes, bro, from that Zoom call. I have them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share them with Newstoter and Brother DJ. Because I don't have to get up here and lie about anything. And the only reason why I was cut off was because Antonia had already raised that particular point earlier. So, don't do that Yvette Carnell thing up here. That shit don't work with us, bro. I'm done.
All right. Appreciate it, Naheem. Go ahead and drop you down. Let me go ahead and get to Reggie. Reggie, go ahead and unmute your mic.
But just to respond to that, if you knew that had already been covered and that had been shut down, the fact that you tried to rehash it shows just how incompetent you are within this space. That's number one. Number two, again, all of this posturing and positioning and bickering y'all doing has absolutely no bearing on how things will play out in Boston or in the state of Massachusetts. And I'll tell you one other thing, and again, I am requesting, but I don't need it to happen because, the people in this room or in this space outside of the Advocacy Foundation really don't matter. I'm saying this for your benefit as citizens, as engaged citizens who want to get policy happening on the city, state, or local level. Y'all have to grow up. And I say that because the stakeholders in this space on the city and state level, they come to me complaining about the way that y'all behave. And y'all don't have to resolve it. It is going to resolve itself in terms of hearings and showing out or whatever, a public comment. Y'all can do what y'all want to do. But when it's time to do like the real work and move things forward, in so many words, a lot of y'all are just going to be sent to the corner because of the way that you behave and conduct yourselves. And it's to the point where they're coming trying to figure out like what's going on with these people. We have to create some sort of mechanism, and I'm paraphrasing, because these people are immature and unwell. That is how y'all are presenting yourselves in a lot of these spaces. I'm just letting you know, as someone, and it isn't a flex or a brag. This is just because you just do the work of being an informed and involved citizen. In City Hall and in the State House.
Hey, Reggie, get ready to land it.
I'm landed. I'm just saying, I am good. I'm saying this for your benefit. Y'all really got to grow up. Like, learn how your local and state governments work. Learn how budgets work. Learn how to actually organize and not just pontificate on Spaces or YouTube. There's real work to be done, and it's gonna get done regardless of whether y'all want to grow up or not. It's gonna resolve itself, and it is resolving itself as we speak. Y'all can figure out which side of that y'all are gonna land on when it all shakes out. I'm about to go check out Yvette Carnell on Patreon. Hope y'all join me. Good night.
All right. Thank you. Let me go ahead and get to Marlon. Marlon, go ahead and unmute your mic.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. To the Cambridge Care Bear, ADOS is the epitome of childish. Y'all already have been banned from government offices all across the country because of y'all toxic behavior. It's probably why Yvette took down about 4 years of her video. So let's stop playing games with that. But I don't want this to be missed, and I'm going to be real quick. Naeem mentioned that we could have handled this behind the scenes. Yes, we could have. That's why when y'all called me on the first call, I told Arthur and Gabe to give you a call. They said they did. You admitted to me that you didn't want to talk to them. And subsequent to that, there came a space calling them grifters, etc. So it could have been handled behind the scenes. That's what I was attempting to do. But you didn't want to have the conversation with them, which is okay, fine. Lastly, as I've said 15 times, the budget is fictitious. Antonia has admitted on several occasions in this space, just listen to it, where she knew about it. She was on the call, the Zoom call with her, Naeem, Jonathan, and everybody else while Gabe was putting the numbers in. Gabe has said that she asked him for her help. And as I said before, this is what she said, and I wrote it down. She said that I asked for help with the proposal because I did not know how to do it. And the last thing I'll say, I said from the very beginning, we was all on a call a few days ago, and Arthur, Cynthia, and Gabe were the suspects in terms of who leaked it. The only other person who could have potentially leaked or who was involved in this was Miss Rose, whose name I didn't mention. Antonia did it. And Antonia has said on several occasions she did not give Miss Rose the document. She said that several times. Miss Rose just said the first time she saw it was from Antonia. Antonia is not telling the truth. That's what I said from the very beginning. Now the facts are on the table. She's not being honest.
All right. Thank you. Cam, go ahead and unmute your mic. I know Antonia, she said she was going to come back into space and say something, but I don't see her in here. So go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you. I just two things I just want to say. Ms. Rose, wow. Arthur and I did not demand of you anything. I said to you specifically, the reason why we're calling you is because our names are being maligned, because we are being accused of leaking information and documents and things of this nation and running our mouths about what's happening in Boston. Matter of fact, I sent an email that shows that your name didn't even come at first. This is the first time that people are hearing it in front of everybody. And your name, and I said that your name came up. And so we just wanted to get an idea of what happened. And you did admit that before you called Morgan, you got a call from Antonia because she was venting about what was happening in the meetings. So for you to actually say that, like, we demanded of you, no, that is not what happened. We were just trying to get the facts. Speaking of Mr. Just the Facts, it's kind of interesting that you say to me, what did you bring to it? And I understand that you also said that I checked out the movement a long time ago. No, I have not checked out the movement. I just don't work with you anymore. And one of the reasons is because I agree with Reggie when it comes to your behavior and how you are actually working on and moving on social media is childish. And you have been talked to about the way that you actually come at people, and you also start to excoriate them when they don't agree with you. So instead of me having big hullabaloo's with you, I just checked out from working with you. But I still do work. I've never stopped. And as far as, like, even you also know work that I have done specifically for you in BTP, please don't do that. Lastly, I just want to say that this is very sad that all of this is happening. This is not something that any of us wanted. We wanted to try to get this stuff done behind the scenes, but when Arthur called all the people who Marlon said contacted him about allegations that were said about Gabe and Arthur, and none of them wanted to get on the phone. Okay? So, and then next thing you know, there's a space being done. All of our names are being called out, and that's what prompted Gabe to say, I'm no longer working on this project. It was not to sabotage it or anything like that. It was to say, hey, to this particular space that wants to talk something about me, I am leaving the project. Best of luck. And that's what I'm saying to all of you tonight. Whatever type of advocacy you do, and whoever you're working with, best of luck. I land my plane there.
All righty. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming out to the space tonight. We're about to get ready to close it out. DJ, you want to say something real quick, and we're going to close this thing out?
Oh, yeah. You already know round two. You know what I mean? Pull up. That's it.
All right, y'all. Thank you for everybody coming out tonight. I don't know exactly how much clarity we got on this topic or whatever, but
that's why we're having a round two.
It is what it is. So we're going to close it out. Good night. Peace. Everybody have a good one.